I lived a long years of my life on this earth. I can see the misery in people and animals alike. In every book, every video, and almost all the songs around the world is about misery. All the money achieved by rich rappers, business leaders, what they called actresses, blow up of their fortunes on how miserable they were, and the things that called art is about misery. Any art that talk about it or surrounding it is not an art anymore. It's a fraud, a way to steal money from the real people who lives there every second of their smashed lives and shut their mouths and keep fighting to the end. People who are the creators of the world, but their hard work had been stolen by the greedy ones among us. You see, if you read the thing called a book from God is about miserable lives teaching about a new life. All of you humans around the globe think about new life literally, but what all you miss is life literally, and the second you die to start new life, which is the start of no pain, no misery. As we come, as we go, no one will be here forever. Even the legacy of us is vanished with times. We live as many people as exists right now. We are miserable in pain, hunger, power, money, greed, anger, love, hate. Just continue whatever shit comes to your mind, and the most shit that they are afraid of is the death itself. People want to live forever. That's why they create gods, to make an ideal that one day be like them, live forever with extreme power. Or we are just animals with a brain hacked by aliens that they know there is something they prepare to go back to it. Let's name it the source, and that's why we value gold and want to gather it all. Even all the technology that we hate and have and will have in the future is one purpose: to go out from Earth to the other side of the universe, and in religion they call it heaven. All the thing that make us human, but a machine serving some one purpose, and when this machine get old it goes to its end. No one ever know or determine who we are or where we come from or where we are heading, but the things we know, that the ideas in our brains is for a purpose too. I'll explain. From the start of life, we know up to now is about king, queen, reach, celebrity, continue whatever comes to your mind. As they live their lifetime controlling and dependent on the real people, the people who live and die convinced that the life is about work and loyalty to whatever, the fame, the king, the actor, rapper, singer, God. See, they create to themselves without knowing that the same people they worship and work their asses to the dependent of their lives, and continues to do so throughout the fucking history, and they still sleep waking zombie shit. See, hierarchy is a Greek word for heroes rules what basically means the heroes rules the country, and before was people who considered to be fighting and strong who rules the country. They manipulate and fight to get to the top. Once they are on the top, they start creating their own path to rule the masses. There is no problem with that. In ancient times the hard work and the strength was a most to be possessed. So the monopoly need a lot of work. Even the level in intelligence was slightly different. Yet it was easier to change things, kill the king and change the system. Yes, it was easy to kill and be killed. Nowadays it's easy to kill each others but not the system. See, the slavery never ends from the time of hierarchy, which basically from the beginning of our existing, when the strongest lead and the weaker following to guarantee our survival. But what we forget is that without the ones who follow, there would be no existing of our species. So basically all of the hierarchy existing depends on the real people who fought beside the leaders and who created the weapons and so on. But all of that was to survive against the wild animals in the woods and the predators who want to eat us. But when people start growing in numbers and start fighting each others, the hierarchy takes another turn, where the leaders is not about our survival but about their own agenda. On the other side of the story, the people who fight against the leaders, we call them now a revolutionary people, people whom find the crack in the system and fight it. Yet if they win, they choose some other leaders and the circle start all over again. So the problem, we are afraid of the chaos that would happen if there is no system or leader. And if we get a leaders, we most accept that they could be greedy and criminal and savages. So the whole idea is live in chaos or live as a slave. What I Mean is this: if we have a leaders then we most obey their law, and if we don't have a leader we most accept the chaos. What do you want as a human? If we choose to be slaves then the leaders have the right to order anything they want us to do. If we choose to be leaders then we have to order the slaves anything we want them to do. And here is the real problem: when a leader in China want to have a war with a leader in USA, the only damage would happen is to the slaves of both parties, while in the real world these slaves could easily get a drink in the bar with each other, while the leaders could be damaged mentally but they have more slaves to sacrifice. The problem with this system is the benefits of the slaves are so limited while the benefits of the leaders are everything. Why should be this way if we could do better than this system? And if we could do better, what is the alternative? We got many problems to solve. The problem is none of them going to read this words cause they are busy working for money while others enjoy the money, like my lazy ass siding up my ass on the toilet seat waiting my kidney stone to goes out after 2 days severely pained to think about the work and money more than my own existing. You see, I'm not the only one, all of you is guilty of this shit. Death is real, yes. Life is fake, yes and no. If you get this puzzle right you are a god and am going to worship you. See, in this fake life you see people did not say I want to fuck your daughter, they say I love your daughter, and some other countries they bring the whole family to ask nicely, can I fuck your daughter? I mean the engagement and the wedding. They create wedding and spend their money on the 2 to 3 hours to tell everyone that now we are man and wife. After 2 to 3 years they divorced, and all the promises gone. Why don't you get married without telling anyone? Why should you publish every second of your life, man and women? If we look at history, people got married cause they don't have DNA tests, simple, huh? Yes, they want everyone to witness the man who's she gonna fuck and have children with, so if she cheats, they know. We think we live and call it life, and we do shit every second until one of the shits we do goes wrong and end up dead, or we are dead later. Don't say this is depressing and I am a negative person. The only thing that prevent us from happiness is not accepting the reality, and I'll explain to you, buddy. In old times deaths were so high to the point that everyone sees it normally, but now they hide everything about it, and who talks about it is a depressed person. The only thing people would enjoy the deaths of other people in movies. If I don't work or don't get money, so I don't have the opportunity to live, and car and electricity and so on. What we can't see is that I don't need any of the shit called toys. People buy toys to show off. They buy it because they think by owning these things and have a higher status than others, then they have everything in life, but in fact they don't. No one will have or had or will have enough in life, so basically, we have nothing no matter how much we try to have. Then they live in 1x1M apartment full of shit, no matter what the end going to be, working like donkeys. Even nowadays the donkey and the horse have more luxury than them. All I wrote before is shit note, and there is a lot more to shit. What this about is really disturbing if you know that this life we are in is about nothing, and even if there is something, did not matter until we make a matter of it. Ask yourself, why do you need to work? The idea of work is to get money to eat. Why do we eat? Is to staying alive. Why we want to be alive? To have children. Why we want or need children? To continue the life. And this is the point. If the point is children and offspring of us, then why we can't give them our energy and life work? Why we most give it to someone else? Life is something we discover to justify everything we do, but do we need to be alive? Yes and no. Yes, because our program is like that. we know nothing more than that, not even we know, but just to bring someone else, babies, to spend the numbers of ourselves alive knowing we gonna vanish and someone else going to do the same as we did over and over again. And no, because it's not unknown to us what is life about. Some people say God, some others atheist or simulation programs, some aliens intelligence created us. Whatever you think about is right, is totally right, because if you're right then this the creative idea of wrong. I know this words make you struggle to understand what this dude talking about. Let me make it closer to your brain. Let's talk about Adolf Hitler. They make you hate him, every Western government hate him, and they deny how much he create in his own thinking and idea. Not even him, but all the countries that lived in his era without him, no computer and many other things, but you get the idea. Without the struggle there is no creativity. In other hand, no one hate Manhattan Project whatsoever. The same is the both, because the both sides are trying to control the world in his own points of view. You don't wanna believe me? Then try this. If you have a lot of money and power and fame, would you give it for anyone else? No, and never in history. Maybe one or two individuals, still no one give his power to someone else. Every person on this earth trying to justify his pain by inflict on others and then give us a miserable story to make the others sympathize with him, and when he get what he wanted he won't give it to others, and so on. I have no money, no friends, no family, no support, nothing at all to support myself or anyone to ask for help, yet am miserable and am proud about it, while I feel like I can't use it to get what others get using their miserable story. Bragging all over the internet about how they face all kind of unfairness in their lives, yet they give the same treatment to the ones they were before in their shoes. Equally, human rights, freedom, democracy, and more of the bullshit we all hear every day. None of it is true or even close to it. It's just words without meaning, and you know why? Because they are not built on the ground of truth. Actually, the truth is so hard for anyone to handle. That's why everyone live true and speak it is naive or idiot. This words am writing is from my frustration and sadness that I've seen every day in every person I see in the streets around me, everyone including myself in the mirror. People are miserable, they change the masks, wearing the power, swimming in the lies, eating the frustration and walking on the dark of knowing nothing. What I mean by that is this. The system we are in is a fake system to the boons. The most corrupted and miserable of it is the politics and the police. Every member of them thinks they knows and totally smarter than any other human or animal on the planet, forgetting that every miserable revolution in history almost always brings the same system again and again. Then others bring them down to build the same system again and again and again, in a boring circle between good and evil. While there is no good or evil, they just stop on the way of natural things to use other people for their own benefits. It goes like that. The rich are lazy, so they make slavery every second of the history did not matter. The name is, and then the politics and the police is protecting their money and their laziness lifestyle, when the others called criminal who want to live like them, both of them is miserable and chasing each other to the eternity. Actually, the police and politics are the most criminals of the world. No morals anymore, no women anymore, no mans anymore. All I see nowadays is toys. They don't even have their own thinking or voice. Trembling from fashion to fashion. Boys want to be girls and girls want to be boys. Some want to be dogs. What the only reality is, they are dying, and before the day is up they try to do any shit to be remembered. And what make it more easy is the internet, the camera and phones, to the point that people getting noticed by farting online. Ugly reality, making a working father who spends his all life working in planting and sweating his ass up to raise two small daughters, and struggling with money to wake up one day seeing his daughters grows up and getting paid by opening her legs and get fucked online while getting as 4 times double as what he got in his all sweating life. It's sad, it's a crime. We all say we love the truth, but it's a big fucking word, so big that no one can carry it for a long time, and to whom that stays true they consider to be a naive idiot. But why? I'm gonna tell you why. Open your eyes and ears and shut up. The people who are naive and idiots by the eyes of majority is the ones who did not lie, or they don't know how to lie. People love lies, the bigger the better. One of this lies is police and intelligence services, and the leading of this the politicians with a big P. They all together, their goal is money and personal agenda under the lie of humanity and democracy, and I'll tell you why. Easy. Imagine a king going every day to planting potatoes. Funny, huh? Yeah, it's funny because no king is going to planting any shit. Instead he sends the slaves to do it. Now the slave think to themselves, why should I plant to this fat motherfuckers called kings? Instead they keeps most of the potatoes to themselves, and here comes the police shit to take all the potatoes from the slaves and give it to the king, who ate until he is full, and then give some of it to the police and what left a little to the politics, and then the remaining pieces to the slaves, just to keep them alive to plant more potatoes. See, it's not that hard, and there is many evidence to this, like diplomatic protection, and the most funny thing is that no crime could solve before it happens, so they come after to solve it, and in the process cost more than the crime itself. Funny, but I can't make it easier than that to understand. One more example about it is the psychological diseases, which basically nothing than normal people, but they think different than how we think. And here you wanna disagree with me and gonna ask this: you never been in a psychic health care or seen one? And the answer is many, and they run thousands of experiments and lock them down with some drugs to keep them sleep until they die. In meantime run more experiments on them, and no one is seeing anything under the reason of they are dangerous on the community. It's the age of loneliness. The most of this basically goes back to the medicine and loneliness and poor food quality. Before we used to eat a quality food and drink water, but nowadays everything is chemical add plus sugar plus medicine, which in return getting a lot of diseases. The argument goes forever and ever if I am to give examples. Many of you never ask themselves why we should fight another human from another country and call it heroic, but when anyone kills someone in the same country they call it a crime. What? The crime is killing someone, not collective crime, but a crime. Healthcare is never good for anything than making surgery and giving normal drugs, because they sell us everything in our life until we die. Why don't leave peoples to their destiny? Everything we live in is a big lie, and to run from it we create more and more destruction and call it future. Our children need a future. What the fuck is this future? People don't have water to drink or food to eat anymore with all this nuclear weapons that we create. Yeah, fuck it. It's gonna be a very, very bright future, believe me, very bright. If you want me to tell you more and more about this life and how much shit we are in, you gonna cry and kill yourself. We'll do it because they gonna tell you don't do it. Don't because they love you. When they tell you that, you need to laugh until you shock yourself from laughter, and you gonna remember no one loves you. It's a cover to keep you a slave so they don't plant their own potatoes. Here another example: every country make drugs illegal, and you think you know why? Yes? No, you don't. They make it illegal because you are not able to live the next day to work for them, but you are high, so you think to yourself, and that's why they make it illegal. That's why the king and his politicians forbidden all drugs but keep alcohol and smoke to kill you slowly, and to make mistakes, so they charges us in every mistake. So basically we pay taxes, then we pay extra fees for every mistakes we do, then they charges us more for everything, to the point you don't have money to eat, while you are able to be slave to them but dies before 60, so your pensions go to them because you will be full of credit, which is another weapon to slave you. Is it so hard to understand? Yes, I know, because it takes from me a lot to get it. The thing is, my friends, Everything you do from the day your birth to the day you shut down is a lie. Let's go back in time and to the school system. In the school they teach you everything but not how to bring money. Everything but not money or politics, because the subjects would make you free and think in your own laziness like the king and his circle. In the school they tell you to love your country, your king, your neighbors, but not other countries, because how the fuck you are going to kill for them? Don't get me wrong, the other countries also have the same system. That's why you see them siding with each other, enjoying the highest life possible while you slaves die and kill for them. You did not get me yet. I don't think you gonna get me, because most of you was in the school system and brainwashed until you read this words. This word's gonna destroy your understanding of this world. In old times they create religion to control the slaves, and it was a very very strong system up to now, but now it's not working anymore because everyone can see everything and wake up, but not from the slave system but from religion. So the smart lazy motherfuckers also get smarter with time. So the slavery system most updates more or they will collapse. So they create terrorists and make you afraid of them, so they keep you under their mercy. Then they create a conspiracy theory and make you afraid, so they put themselves as the savior, and the one who know this theory and more prove of it is the people who explain this theory and the conviction they have plus the money. My friend, or fuck no one is my friend. No friend gonna go with me to my final destination. But before I arrive there, I want you to understand one thing. The only mother in this big lie is the earth. The true and only true is the earth. From it and to it you are, so save it with any power you have, because no one will accept to die voluntarily or die before he kill everything with him, the animals, the nature, the gold, the water. And here comes the story that you don't wanna believe, and it's like that. Once upon a time, in the past, was a lot of people like us now, and they had everything more than we have now, the same slaves and king and politics, and they destroy everything until they hate a very big war that wipe everyone except two people to start again, thinking that they gonna do better, but they forget to wipe that ugly part from their DNA, so they bring to the earth again the same ugly truth, and this truth is us. Killing every beautiful creature that once walk on the mother earth. Look at the famous people and the king, the rich, the gold digger. The thing that brings them together is greed, greed, greed. They have millions of cars, they kill elephant for ivory and the whales for the amber, and more and more. Then we are the slaves doing the job for them, and our children be slaves to their children, and killing more and more of innocent animals, destroying the plant and the moral of a human life, which is live in peace with everything around us, even the viruses, the bacteria, and the death itself. Yes, all afraid, but what's more? Have you left anything to your children? The new war is about killing the slaves and their offspring. That's why they are building a places in the hand of the slaves to hide in it, while all of you died in the weapons you created. Look at the gold, only couple of people have it. Look at the food, only some people have it. Look at the water, everyone fighting for it. What I'm about to tell you is forbidden knowledge to the slaves, the normal people who knows nothing but naive idiots who work and work to wake up having nothing but the biggest problem is none of you gonna read this words, because they gonna hide it, or you are not gonna read it. This is not a novel nor a book, it's a note on my broken mobile, and what I want from all the universe who can read and brave enough to wake up. There is nothing gonna save you, so die with dignity. All the money you have worth nothing, and the gold is not in your hands, it's in the hands of some people. Stop all the credit that make people slaves. All credits are the weapons to slave people, and then the same people who are the loaner make you sign on their terms, and then when the economy crisis comes, they create it. The only one who affects is you, the people who really have nothing, and they make you work more, and you'll never be able to pay your credit, and then they take your home, your car, your life, and drop you in the streets to die without any humanity they say they have. You see all this people who support the laws but not owning a land to give to your children after you is the same people who want all your energy to go to their children instead by using your life energy for them while you die and give your children after you the loans and credits that you couldn't pay and the house goes back to them and then they sell it back to someone else and goes in circles. Thousands of lives just vanish from the earth without even knowing what had happened to them. Stop all the weapons and fight each other with sticks. What's wrong with that? Open your eyes and ask this: why all this weapons? And the most controlled one is the nuclear weapons that they save to the times when they finish building their safe underground bases to hide in it and kill every other soul they think it's not worth to save. They don't want to save you, they want you to work for them until there is nothing left, then bumping all the earth, killing everyone they don't want, keeping the earth free for their offspring to walk and thrive again. Food, well, there is food for everyone, but some countries just drop a lot of food every day while others don't have anything to eat. Why don't just pack it and send it to them? Stop all the police and politics and kings from their throne because they are not the good people. Yes, this the most interesting subject no one dare to talk about, and the story is they are here to protect the people, but what they don't know is their existing is only to protect the money, not the people. How many cases where the police comes after the crime, not before, and then they start investigating like they care, but what the point if the crime is already done? They come after the crime to cost more money and to steal from the criminal to take it back to the hands of the ones who owns the system. The poor people, while most of the crime that happened is because of poverty, and poverty comes from the same system that creates the police and creditors, and if you look at it from a reality point of view, all the crimes that happened is for the good of the earth, even if no one will admit it. But if there is no natural enemy of the humans, then what? We are now around 10 billion persons, just 100 years more and we are at 50 billion. Then the most delicious dishes is the human flesh with dust. That's why everybody hate the truth. The gay people is more and more nowadays, and the only point of their existing is the castration of man and women, so they stop producing more people. But the same people who control the world is hiding the truth about them and supporting them, and even castration now is available for small children, so the only people that have the right to bear children is the people who have money. And all that happened just because no one dared to speak the truth that people most stop bringing more and more children every second, or create a death system to them so the numbers of the population reduce to be able to have future for their children, otherwise they are going to have nothing. And what more disturbing is people did not like the truth, so they accept the illusion instead of the truth. If the government said to them stop bringing children, then they will make a revolution against the system. But when they paint the truth with colors and make gay like a new fashion, then people accept it with happiness and make a movie of it. We are creatures that hate the truth in any way possible. But there is a solution, and is so easy. Everyone should produce his own food and stop giving money to every woman who opens her legs online or to every man who work on politics, because they are the same. They produce nothing and the money in their hands, and they are the most ones who drop food and own animals' skin. They are the most of us who have private cars and jets, and they produce code to more than 1 million of poor people together, yet they slaves them just because the human soul is weak and can be controlled, so they play on this weaknesses of human souls, yet by hiding the truth, or maybe just maybe they don't know, at least some of them. Stop send your children to school, just teach them how to plant their own food and take care of their wives or mans and their children. Imagine this: a baby like Tarzan live in the woods and never go to school or society. He is an animal, and that's what school is. They program our children to fit their system and teach them everything about how to be a slave, so they grow up knowing nothing and protecting their own slave system without even wake up, and anyone who tries to do so they drops. him or her in the fire to burn under any name from traitor to terrorist or just vanish without hearing about them anymore. The argument is like this: people are dying, they know that, and they want to be free without working, and they want to be happy ever after with all their dreams come true, and with all this no effort. They want to have everything without any effort, and that's why you see the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, with some exceptions here and there. The ugly truth is they want to keep it this way. That's why they make favors to each others and using the slaves to make their plans. Which is the poorer? Let's make an example. Weed marijuana, the best medicine known to humans, is free for every poor to use, but the rich could not sell their shitey stuff called medicine, so they pay the politicians to pass a law to criminate the use of free medicine and enforce the poor to buy their shit. Did you get it, buddy? And there is millions of example on this. Just I give you the idea and you open your imagination. Alcohols is legal but not weed. The most crimes happens when people on alcohols. The highest rate of all drugs is alcohols, yet it's legal. Sugar is legal, smoking is legal, and many other things that do a lot of harm on the people and society, yet they are profitable and make you a living slave long time, but not that long to get your pensions, and even if you reach that age you gonna spend it on healthcare, so you are a slave to pay for your healthcare. Nothing is free for the slaves, but the rich is the one who benefit from all of it. Nuclear bombs is created to kill the masses, not the chosen ones, and the chosen ones sooner they are done with their shelter, so their life spared, not the slaves. Still they most take some slaves with them, so the cycle of slaves never die. Most of what they will hide with them are people with special knowledge and experience, so they rebuild. If you think this is a movie, then open your eyes and see that most of the movies about apocalyptic events. Not the movie, but the idea is what people fantasy all about. This is a note without any preparation or help from anyone, and even the ideas is not explained very well, not because I can't, but I don't want to give you a boring book with everything is ready for you to ideologize your brain. It's how it is, no editing or approval from any authorities. And I have no plans to create any cult or be a president, which all of them is why I'm writing this note. Everything must go back to normal, which is like old days. No money, no king, nothing, only people, and people are going to die, so stop pretending to protect us. No one wants any protection from any enemy. The politicians and the rich is the one who is responsible for any war that happened on this planet, and to stop them we must take their power from their hands. You maybe ask how? Well, before money there was exchange of things like the important things in life, food and house, so people used to exchange food for gold, or I build your house and you give me fish from your fishing products. It's hard, so hard to do it right. Actually it's not. You see, the scams now is exactly like that. People exchange money for their lifestyle, but in the end of the month they have no time and no money, and in the end of their lifetime they inherit their children the debt to pay. While if I build up a house and you supply me with gold, then the rich did not have the power to play me. You see, they want to take out from the market everything, that one day we have nothing to really on and we will be slaves forever. It's not about freedom they tell us about, it's a real freedom where my child could have a land, not debt, and your energy in this short life could be transferred to your children after you in a real way, not in a scam and lies. The bank did not guarantee anything. The bank only guarantee the rich and the scams they run. Try to go to any bank and withdraw $1 million, they will ask you 3,000 questions plus 3,000 security questions, then you can't take it the same day. And when it is a war, the scammers put all the interest on the poor, so they pay for the war and the debt, the houses they buy, the car, the land, which more and more debt grows every year, plus you die on the front line, while the rich family never go to war but eating the blood and flesh of whom consider a slave, who fights and die for the cause. You see, it's not only that, the problem is the rules and who put it there. the rules is put to serve the power not the right. It goes like that: if I want to make a law about something, let's say the car should not be driven in this area, that means not be driven in this area, but when comes to the punishment, if you drive here you can pay money. Well, if all people have money, then everybody would drive the car there, who cares? And if no one have money, no one will drive there. But if some people have and other don't, this means some people allowed to shit and pee on the law and others must respect the law. And here is the real problem: the law is here to serve the money, not the people, and that's why this note must be written. In some point or another someone must destroy the law and rebuild it again. It must be done without violence, but it's so hard to do that. That's why the war serve a purpose every time, but even in the war the ones who have money uses the noble idea of the war to destroy the purpose of it, and in the end of any war, after all the poor died and the remaining children and women serve the winner, and it goes like that for eternity. What is so funny about the war that is coming now? There will be no remaining children or women, but only the rich who could pay for a place underground. What I mean here is this war going to be nuclear war, where the rich had built underground Judgment Day bases while the others is going to die with their children and women. But the rich have backup plan this time too, which is the reproducing slaves. After all the study they have been doing on the last 100 years, I mean all the medical technology, they could save 1000 s of good healthy semen and female's egg to reproduce more people after they decide who live and who dies. It's funny and sad in the same time to know that there is no point of this life, and all the energy we have and all the study we did, the books we wrote, going to vanish, and some stupid money gatherers going to decide our fate. My language in this note is so poor and easy to read, but I want it to reach the poor and naive people only, so they could learn to stop working for money and the ones who have it, and start working for themselves and their offspring, so their energy and knowledge transport to them pure, without secret or CIA or any police or politics who hide information to serve their master or agenda. People want to be honest, but they can't be, because the law punched the honest a very hard punishment, and up to this days, with all the knowledge and advanced technology we have, yet the law is old and without any useful of its purpose. Millions of years ago up to now, the law of human is the same: the one who have money is the one who always wins, and the poor go to hell. All the technology we have is to serve the power, which is not the natural power. I'll explain. In the nature, a lion is power and a gazelle is weak, and it goes like that. The power eat the weak to survive and then leave the weak to continue their life, but in human law the power eat everything, leaving nothing to anyone to survive, and the law who supposedly meant to protect the weak is already against them. What the point if we all know the truth but worship the power and kiss the powerful shoes and cry, I want to be good but I can't, because good in this world is the gazelle and all going to eat it, yet they feel sorry for the gazelle but respect and fear the lions. The Mother Nature has given everyone the tools to survive, yet the lion cannot eat grass, which is a lot, and the gazelle cannot eat meat, so the power is fair. In human animals law nothing is fair, because the weak did not die for any reason than to be a number in someone's account or in the army of a king, or just because the lawyer have a lot of money been paid by the rich. Imagine there is no money in humanity, the lawyer will not be greedy and the doctor will not be greedy, even the farmer will not be greedy. Yet the argument goes like that: if there is no money, how people is going to live? Well, ask the gazelle and the lion. If the rich have only money to eat like the farmers, then none of them is going to interfere with the other and everyone going to respect the other. But when someone have money, then the respect is gone and someone is going to use his power to take what he don't have. Equality is most, and equality will not be useful if someone have a control of resources, so even the resources most be equally. The doctor and the farmer have the same salary, a 1 gram gold, and every other profession is the same, a monthly payment. Yet if you don't like the farmer's fruit, then plant it yourself, and if you don't like the doctor treatment, go and to another one or die. Now everyone with agenda going to argue that no one want to die, and this is the problem, everyone is going to die. And the acceptance is the key. If I explain now the truth, everyone is going to hate this note, but I must say it. The ugly truth is this: the system we are in now is promoting the weak on the power, and it goes like that. When a disaster happens or a disease hit, the money goes to the weak who his family have resources, while the strong survive on its own. And it's not fair, but it's life. And when millions spent on saving the weak, we always play in Mother Nature thinking we know everything. That's why all the medical technology and the medicines, millions, is the mother of all problems we have. Everyone want to live forever, and this impossible, and it need to stop. The medical technology should be only used in accidents, not on the viruses and bacteria to kill them. They are here for a reason. We thrive too much on the accounts of others, and if there is no one to address it, then who is going to stop us as species? Our work on this earth, like the work of a viruses on the body, if the body couldn't fight the viruses, the body die, and the same goes to Mother Earth. If we as human just continue to spread out like a viruses, and the Mother Earth tries to stop us from that, and we fight it by creating antiviruses, then we are going to a point like climate change or worse. You see, the war, the earthquake, the volcano, all of them is for a balance, and we try to interfere with it all to survive on the existence of other species without any room for them to defend themselves. Yet we think we are correct. Climate change is a joke, but greed is not. See, we have nothing and we never had. We blow the books and the internet, the written epics on how humans are good, but it's a lie, it's a fraud, and I'll tell you why. From the beginning of life up to now, people want a leader to survive, but it was when we needed to survive. But now we are not under any threat, we have everything, yet everyone want more and more. So we think we are in evolution and we are creating a future, but this future is the future of the greed. All the technology we have now is for the greedy ones to be more greedy. Every device we developed is not about taking humans to be better, but about how much sell and money could this device or this idea bring to the discoverers. So the consumers have no option but to slave themselves to the discoverers, and the consumers grow up knowing nothing more than what the technology brings them. So the system categories two types of people: the consumer and the discoverers. Between them big gaps of inequality. And nowadays we see people getting a lot of money by using their bodies as products to sell the consumers what the discoverers hate. Discover. See, the point is we are a dying creatures making a joke of each other's under many names like life and survival or purpose, or many other names and ideologies to cover the fact that we are the slaves to our existence. We don't want to face the truth, so we accept the illusion, and that's why the entertainment business bullshit is the biggest scam ever, where a dancing butt make more money than a hard-working bus driver. And that's why we live in a simulation or a program where people work like animals to spend their money or energy on a dancing butt without even wake up to the reality that we are not a thinking animals like we thought we are. Nothing is there to wake people up, only to make them sleep more. What we accomplished up to this days that this note been written is this: humans are the most stupid animals on the planet. Yeah, you can talk and think and play and discover whatever, but actually how we call ourselves intelligent if we are already destroying everything we come from? For the illusion of a future we never get. Think this way: who told you that what we have now is a future, not a past? Everyone imagine the future of a green land with a sunset and peaceful environment, but this is what Earth was before us. We come to this earth and starting to destroy, and we will continue to do so until we have nothing left. See, there are a couple of the human tribes that still in the Amazon woods where they tell the story of humanity without the bullshit we have in our futuristic technology. They are so simple and humble in everything, yet their destiny and ours are the same, but the nature around them is fabulously perfect. If we look at our problems and theirs, we see that we struggle if we did not get a like on a picture on social networks, and they struggle for the death of one of their friends on the hunt yesterday. Se the difference between the intelligent stupidity and the natural struggle. And if we major everything in our lives to them, we see the illusion we are in. Let's say we discover the universe and we could live forever, no deaths, no pain, and we have everything we could dream of, then what? Let's say we become gods. If anyone remember that we kill all gods in our mythology, we are a killing creatures, and we are heading towards killing our earth with no regrets because we are not thinking animals as we think we are. Yes, it goes for me as for you. Am only human like you all. I love to live and have children, but what I want is to give others the right to live too. With no one is better or above any other, not even an insects. Everything have a purpose in this life. The one who ruled the world know this, but they use it to their advantages while the poor and naive are ignorant. The law is against the truth. The money is used to promote fake information, and we live thinking we know, but we know nothing. Don't work for others, work for yourself. Don't hurt Mother Earth if you want a future to your children. The more damage we do, the less future to our children we have. The more money, the more resources going to die. I'll explain here. Fishing is necessarily to us but to eat, not to market. So when we eat and leave the fish have some space to reproduce, then it's okay. But when we kill for the money and the big company and competition for money, then the fish is in danger, and this what I mean. Accept the death and live according to it. We most live in this earth as the final day in our life, but if we don't want to be sad and feel lonely, we must be strong from the inside, and to do that we have to live fully. What I mean fully is everything we had and have and will have be transferred to our babies, to our offspring, and this is only the only purpose we most work for. Not for money, not for government, not for others, not even the tax. The only reasons of our life is ourselves, and that's why the government is taxing everyone. So you fight for the rich people and you pay for the rich people and die for the rich, which is not the real purpose. We most think of our children who's going to live after us, and instead of giving them a credit, we most give them some of our hard work that we gain in our life. And for this we most stop give our money or gold to the bank. Instead we give to our offspring the only ligaments for our energy. That's why I'm writing this note, to remind you that the energy you had most go to and thrive to your children after you. If you really want to have a purpose in this life, go for this note and don't thank me. Just do what is right for you, not for the rich who knows how to play on our needs to get their needs. And if you get rich one day through the system, then remember that other people energy is not a game, it's a life of struggle and pain. Life give us everything for free, and people is the only greedy creature who make it debt and credit to be able to slave the weak and powerless, the naive, and then they give their children everything, including the habits of being greedy, the ways of slaving people, and the way of stealing the energy of the weak. Someone going to ask me, but how people is going to live without money? Good question, but what the meaning of this life? There's nothing or meaning of it, but that doesn't not mean that we promote the slavery and suffering we all suffer. Even the most rich have pain in this life and they struggle, but in their good time they most not have more than they can handle. That means if a person is doctor and the other is cleaning the streets, then one of them going to have triple the income of the other. Why is that? Is it because he goes to school? No. Most of the rich did not go to school, many of them by their parents, and others they get rich by their hard work, but most of them is not. Example, Why a girl who open her legs on public get 100 times payment than a worker in the coffee field, or a political get 1000 time payment than an ordinary teacher? There is something wrong in our system, and this system is not with the nature of the Mother Earth and not to protect lives or children. The greedy humans get more and more greedy by the money system. Most people have the reason of their life to bring more and more money without getting any, while their energy goes to the others who knows how to monopolize the law and the system to work in their favor. Yet the most corrupted thing of it is the police and the court, not because they know, but they are not. They already grow up and rise on this system to the point that they don't know anything better, and they influence and enforce others to do what they told. Why would anyone think that he knows more than others? Every authority thinks they know more than the others, and in what they believe that. In the degrees they take from the corrupted schooling system, or from the God who never proved or disproved, or the money they have. Everything is changing every second. From 400 years back they burned women's thinking they are witches, or they slave the black people thinking they are less than the white. Now they say weed is not legal, or the people who tries to defend their land from the occupier are terrorists, and many more of the shit and nonsense. Then they use the media that they control with their money to make people do what they want them to do, and if they don't they will be considered to be criminals. Why you give yourself the right to be right and the others to be idiots? You see, there is no right or wrong without the right, there is no wrong without the light, there is no dark without the freedom, there is no slave. And apply it on your life, you are going to see that everything have a purpose. We give ourselves the right to kill the flies, but not the other way around. I am a man without any purpose other than what they told me. The political, the people who give themselves and the circle around them the right to control others using every possible way, including money and media. Nowadays no one can live without money and media, and this things is completely controlled by the non-working people who don't produce anything, but they are good at controlling and monopolize others, slaving the majority of people by media and money. I'll explained. Who care if Leo Messi got 1000 golden ball, or Rihanna show here butt, or what Kim Kardashian give to the world? And the actors who have millions of money, what exactly did they give to the world? Entertainment. They tell the story of real people or factional stories, then they get millions, while the real people who have lived the true events get nothing and still in poverty. People make a show of giving a hungry child a sip of water and make a movie of it, then the whole country are in poverty and they did not help any shit. See, for the millions it's so important, and everyone from the working classes spend his life working real job like building or rescue or farming, then take his money to the entertainment community and pay to them, so they live doing nothing while others work for them. But it's not that easy. Even this lazy entertainment people and media controlled by the politics and the Illuminate, who control what to say and do, what is acceptable and what not, what is good and bad, who is terrorists and who is making a shadow on the eyes of the normal people to keep them under the leash of slavery. How they do that? It's easy, but not that easy to figure out. Open your mind now and listen. The school system is only the program of the slaves. Everyone should send his children to school. Why? If the school should teach something useful, then what the reason of life? The life is about producing and dying, so our offspring must continue the life, and what I mean about that is the family. But what they teach in school system now is how to not have a family, instead how to have a broken relationships, how to not have money, how to not be a politician, how to not ask the right questions. And more of the shit. Millions of years the lion or the elephant or any other creature on this planet teach their offspring how to survive, but not humans. In the human community they teach them how to be a slave so others can ride on their back like a horses or donkeys by programming them in the school. In the school they teach the children to help others, while in the real world no one will help you but ride you and call it help. In real world virus should kill so the strong survive, but they use the intelligence of some people to produce some vaccine, then selling it to the weak and not strong that can survive on their own, creating a sickness community full of weak lazy people, and then call it everyone have the right to live. But they never say how to live. The right to live like slave, yes, and if you want to join the rich club you need to lie and scam others to be liked by the Illuminate, who teach them like the donkey and the carrots. If you do what we want we give you the carrot, and if not we keep you run for it. I know my words seem hard to get, but how to make it closer to your mind is a big challenge. After all, we have been programmed for a long time to the point that it is hard to believe. Let's put it like that. If any one of you watch the Matrix movie, then it's exactly the same, but some details need to correct, like the city of Zion. I can't make it closer, but you most notice on your own, and even if I make it closer to your brain they are going to accuse me of anti-Semitism. What the heck anti-Semitism is? We can speak about Islam and mock Jesus and laugh about any religion or political party, but when comes to Jewish we are anti-Semitism. The Holocaust that they cry about every second and push people to accept their part of the story, while in Palestine they do exactly what Hitler did to them before. They are not different from any of us, yet they try to impose the same treatment on others. And if we are going to respect the Semitic people, then let's start with USA and return the lands to the natives and return the Islam to Saudi and so on. Is it possible? We all are humans, as what human right joke supposed to mean, but as I explained before, there is no rights before money, so all the human rights and animals right and the stone right is not exists when money presents. Everything we respect now is material things, and if some nations or persons did not like something they just pay money and create whatever rights they want, and if you don't conform then you get cancelled. If you don't support their story you are anti-Semitism, you are an enemy. Need to be destroyed and silence you and your right to express. And when comes to money it seems no one have enough, no matter how much you work or how much you live. But why you don't ask this? Why is there enough food for some and there is no food for others? Or why some people spend a lot more than they need and others have nothing to spend? You see, there is a lot for everyone, but how you are going to be slave if you are free? Never. That's way we are not free and never have or had been free. Every day the world change and the slavery system change with it to fit the times, and money is the motivation of all. If you read this note you are going to remember the potatoes example. What the point in working if it's not for you? Let's see, if I don't work but I plant a tomato and exchange it with bread, it's a better system than money. But the only problem is that so many people like to be slaves and they will do everything they could to keep the system alive and protecting the top who slaves them, and this is the challenge of exchange system. I know the exchange system is the oldest system known to humans, but this is the only system that keep respect to everyone, including animals and nature and humans. We want to live forever and so the earth, but if we are the dominant ones that doesn't mean we destroy everything in the process. This what we do now. As much I hate the war, but it's the only place where people are real and remove the mask without any shame. They enjoy killing each other, and the worst of them is the politics and kings and the rich who started every war in this earth, but they never fight it. Instead they send the slaves to die while their offspring lives and continues to slave the remaining of the slaves and their children who did not die in the war. It's funny, but it's the truth, the ugly truth that everyone is trying to ignore by any means. I can tell you this: we are not who we are, but we are as they want us to be. I don't want to work for money or for the war or for travel to the moon. You see, we have a lot of problems to solve, yet we create more advanced technology, and with it comes more problems, and never solve the old ones, and seems to create more problems than solving it. So we give to our children problems and credit and sadness. We try to make things better by following the wrong ways. Hopefully we live forever. No, we are not. We can't live forever, and that's why we need to make a change, a big change, destroying every stone that the power is up on it. Money system, government system, this two systems is dependent on each other and creating more slaves, which is why we need to have another system, even if it's against our emotions. The emotional judgment that led to the power slave system we are in now. All the leaders in this earth knows that if you want to lead the people, you must deceive them, and that's why whenever you see a leader speaking about banal words like democracy, freedom, human rights, etc., you need to get rid of them, and instead searching for the most naive ones you could get in your city to get them the seat of power, and the politics around them never be elected by what called intelligence or wit, but by their honesty, and every intelligence services must be destroyed. Why we need the secret services anyway? National security? Ask yourself why we need them. To protect us from the enemy? Well, if the government were honest from the first place and people know everything, there will be no enemy, but they deceive us and creating enemy, imaginary ones, while in secret they are friends to each others while taking their people as slaves, and it goes like that forever if we don't stop this activity and get our right back. And what I mean our right, it means the lands, the government, the life without slaves and slavery. It's so hard, but it's possible. We as humans create everything we have now, and we are going to create more and more, but the only thing that never changes is people. We think we have changed from long time ago. No, we are not, and never. People don't change at all. They grow old, dies, then their offspring do the same again and again. That's why you see throughout history war and level between people. This must change if we really think we are a thinking animal. We all want the truth, the love, the honesty, the equality, and every honorable word we could find and describe, yet when the real moment comes we lies and deceive, then ask others to do the right, when we fail to do it. The problem is not us, the problem is the community, the law, the judges and lawyers. All this system is fake and corrupt for the simple fact that who say the truth look boring and stupid and never encourage this behavior. Instead they fight it, laugh at it, make a joke of it, while the ones who deceive got the money, the fame, the love and the lead throughout people history. They love to be deceived, and this is what never change up until now. So what? Should we learn in school system how to deceive? No, they don't, and they will not allow it, because the deceive game is not for the people, it's only for the chosen ones. Yap, in the school system they teach you to be honest and make a show of it, but never teach you how to deceive and find the deceiver in our lives, or how to stop them. Look at the president, the king, the famous, the actor. What you see? Everything is secret in their life, and they show you only what you want to see, and when any one of them did something the Illuminate did not want, you see them falling under ridiculous reasons or get killed in a revolution, or mysterious ways. I'll not start naming, but Saddam Hussein and Muammar al-Qaddafi is the biggest example, and there are many like them, to the point no one dare to challenge the secret community, neither take any action against them. How we gonna take action if they are in the top position of any organization that can make any change? Now if I publish this shit, I'm going to be sure that they are going to undermine me, call me a loser, or if this words reaches many people, they are going to find a party or group to sabotage me, or any effort to make people know about it, even shut me up with their legal ways, which is their playing field. Communism, fascism, dictatorship, feudalism are forbidden to practice or talk about. Nazism is never ever legal to talk about or practice. Anti-Semitism never to talk about, and anyone try to speak about them they put you in jail, but you can speak about Islam, Christian, about Nicki Minaj or some other stupid subjects that did not lead to any understanding of what happened around us. If I speak about any subjects that mention Jewish they accused me of anti-Semitism, and why? Because Nazism killed of them 6 million or so because they are so nice and peaceful people, ha. They call it mass execution while killing Iraq and Syrian or African is not. It's the third world stupid people who ate in their hands and terrorists. What? I was asleep until Palestine news hits the news and I saw all the countries that they blow our heads with democracy and freedom run to help Israel. What then? I started to run all the names that I grow up on, like democracy, freedom, human rights and more of this shit, and turn out to be a cover to control the poor, the naive, the masses. And then I start crying. They sell us illusion to take the real things from our hands to put it in their hands and their children hands in a so-called legal shit. What? Yes, they create an illusion to take everything pure from us as humans and sell us the poison words. And then I start reading more and more about the Western world, and I notice that all the riches and prosperity they have is built on the blood of African and Asian and Middle East, where all the treasures and the real rich is. They take it away from the original people and use the locals to work and mining this treasures and send it to them without any effort. How is that done? It's easy. They send their politics to play on the human weakness in these countries to take control over the leaders and guarantee them the rich and government and weapons to control the masses, to make them work for them and their masters. And if anyone dare to challenge them or try to say no to them, they directly accused them of terrestrial activities or open their past sexual adventure to make the masses turn against them, to get over them and bring someone else, a puppy, to continue their plans. I want to explain more to who is going to read this, but my English is poor and my knowledge of the secret society without a proof yet. It's a pattern repeated in each country that want to be free. Freedom is a word full of illusion and poison. Means every person in this earth want to be free. Look at the animals in the cages, they are helpless and we go looking at them to enjoy our free time, right? But when these animals attack any human we call them savages. This is exactly what happened in the human world now. The freedom is for some people and the masses are slaves. The democracy is for some people and the masses are slaves. The money is for some people and the masses are slaves, and on and on. And if someone or some country try to make their own ways, their fate is destruction and destroy. The world we are in now is working like this. You start in your birthday, they give you a name and number and ID, then the programming start from your parents who's already programmed before. Then you grow up to be a labor, but not for you but for them, the government. This government is led by politicians and this politicians is controlled by the money, and this money is in the central bank who is owned by 4 families, and this families owned us. I don't know why or how they get there, but if anyone want to become free, these families most lose their power, and it would be stop using any money and reverse the laws about private ownership of the land. The owner of the land most be the people, not the bank, not the government, and this lands most go to my child after me and should not be any tax on the owned land. People now live in apartments like sardines boxes, pay for the companies who owns everything, and the free land is owned by the bank. Ask yourselves what you own now as a person. What the purpose of your life if not for your child? You see, they bombarded us with theories that there is no purpose of our life more than eat, drink and sex and shit, then die. Is this a purpose? While the people who own the government teach their children everything they know to make them the new leaders of us, while we eat sex and shit and the food is shit, the sex is no means and shit that already our life and purpose. What we have now is not a life, it's a highest level of slavery and miserable life. People sad and angry and unhappy, Every young soul nowadays spent their energy on how many partners they could sex, and the women are prostitute and no life commitments they spend their lifetime on footballs and sports and gambling, no real reason to their lives. The police is working to stop any normal person of being free by controlling every part of the life, even how to teach your child, so even the police did not know who they are. It's a miserable life for all. Then the studies come saying people are happier publishing shit everywhere on the internet, and yet behind every photo and video is a sad story of a slaves. They have no food to eat or money to spend. All this illusion have to stop. All the money system most collapse. All politicians with the dogs and underdogs most go to the trash ban. I know it's hard, and so hard because the people who is dependent on this system is too many, and the power they have is greater than the poor, but the masses have more power than any illusion or weapons. The poor knows how to fight, not the rich. The money and fame did not exist if the poor stop supporting them. I can say stop working and the system gonna collapse in days. Everyone can start planting potatoes so he have food on the table, and the rich going to plant their own potatoes so they get their asses sweating and not live lazy on the back of the poor. This note is for every soul that been defeated under the power of money and fame and political debate. This note is for the new generation who want to have life, a real life after us. We are slaves for the system. This system is working for some people only, and this people create the system over time to work for them, and who dares to work outside the system is doomed, and the system is not affected to anyone other than these people. The other masses is the slaves in this system, and the only way to join the top is to do as they tell you to do, basically as slaves of pyramid. That's why their sample is a pyramid with an eye. All the systems before this illuminate have been non-functional for the people, because every time a couple of people comes to power, they use this power to slave the same people who put them on their throne. But what all this system and other systems dependent on is money, so now we must take the money out of the hand of the powerful and destroy the system totally. No digital money or fiscal money, and no banking system, and to do that we need to create a new system that no one will need power to apply it on others for their own benefits, and the benefits must be for all. To do that we need to start working on the traditional trading system with the help of internet, where everyone have to love some type of job, and when he did his job in a good way and benefits the others, then have the right to eat how much he want and have a right to travel and own a car, and these things can be limited if the person did not do the job, and the way he eat and travel is also can be done on the agreement between the parties. There will be many, and a lot of people will not like this system because they think they deserve more than others. This is what make the money system useful, because most of people thinks they are better than other, and therefore they us every way possible to get what they want, including killing, creating war, steal and slave others, and the money is the drive of it all. No one want to speak about money in any way, and thinking that we all going to die if we stop working with money. Almost everyone think that money is life. Well, it is if we give it importance, but if we give no importance, then there is no money at all. The history of money comes with war. There is no change in money history without a war, and that's itself most rise some awareness, yet it seems no one is seeing what is really happening. The people who created the money system was actually broke and have no enough gold or silver to cover their expenses, so they printed some papers with some sample on them and give it to people instead of real things like gold or silver, and to this day they just print and print without any real gold or silver connection, which means it's just a paper. If someone bought a 100 kilograms of groceries with a $100 and other one in other countries bought the same amount of groceries with a 1 g of gold, what is the difference here? First both have dinner on the table and both have a house, yet if one of them want to be free he just could hide the gold he have and give it to his children. After a 1000 years still they can put food on the table, but with the one who have money he would not be able to save it for a month, and after that it worth nothing. The difference between the illusion and reality is huge. That's why they want you to circle the money every day so the illusion keeps alive. In meantime the gold is gathered and saved in the hands of Illuminate until the judgment's day, where they are ready to burn all the illusion with the slaves and have every real asset, gold and silver and the precious metals. The funny thing is the slaves, which is the masses, mining this precious metals and exchange it with the illusion, which is money paper. So when they decide that they don't want to work with money anymore, they will be already no precious metals remaining in the hand of the masses. All of it will be charged with the illusion, and we have nothing but to cry and kill each other on the loss. The story looked like a sci-fi or movie, but if you remember what happened in Corona time you won't be surprised. It was exactly like a zombie movie. No one would say hi to the others and all afraid and hide, and people seem like crazy afraid, listen to everything the government say without any questions. There is no freedom or free thinking anymore, everything controlled by some who give the instructions and people believes blindly, and this is the real threat to the humanity. As a human, the greatest thing that makes me alive is to be able to judge and be free to think and act, but not anymore. Now the children is not yours, it's the government property, and the parents is lead by the media. The cars drive itself, every move been watched, every thought been saved, every DNA, everything we say is recorded on a database where been controlled by the Illuminate, and they sell and buy whatever they want. They create a law that suit them and their business and story. What left for us as humans? Even the air we breathe been charged, the water been charged, people body parts been selling and buying, and more of the scary future we think is better. This note start with anger about things seems normal, and up to this point if someone reads all the shit I wrote you can see that things is not normal, but is like a program been upgraded and updated every year like a computer, and our life is like a part of this computer. The CPU is the heart of this computer and the other parts is working from the CPU orders, but none of them can function alone, and if any part of this computer been non-functional the error message pop up and tell the police to go and fix it. We are not a computers, we are humans, and it must be a place where the life should be the important of everything, not the money or order. All I can see is everyone want to live, no one want to die, and in the process everyone want to have power over the others, and the power is in the hand of the Illuminate. But if you put yourself in their shoes we gonna see that is not easy to give their places to others, because the others will do worse or better. No one will ever know until we try. People will never understand the need of equality, but they forget that not everyone is the same. So what the point of the money if the aggressive people will dominate the submissive by owning the most money? Then equality will be bullshit. Throughout history almost always the aggressive wins, and the king who control the people get everything to himself and killing everyone who say no. While in the system we are in the same roles apply, but they don't kill the ones who dare to speak but take all the money from them, leaving them to die by hunger. From this point we can see that there is no aggressive or submissive, but both will be aggressive or submissive depending on the money they have, and that's why all this system is falling. But if we give the people a chance to eat and work without any benefits or a money, the aggressive will have no power over others and it work for the submissive. So instead everyone will work on the things they love, and when things interfere the judgment system will take the wrong ones and treated them by working in the desert building solar energy or plants trees, but still they most eat. What I mean in this example is that there is many way to punishment and without serving any other organizations but the earth. If we start thinking about solutions without putting the money first, then we have many ideas that work better than the illusion we have. Why everyone is afraid of having no government? Because people will kill and steal and do things without any stop, right? Yes, but this is what already made happen with every government. People are people, but at least no one will kill and steal under what is called law. The law creators doesn't have any power over human nature, and the only thing they did throughout history up to now is slaves the masses and steal their energy and put it in the hands of some lazy illuminate who use and steal and kill with the help of the law they created. Funny, yes, but this is the truth. Who did protect the Indians in America? They kill them all and take their land, and the law is never worked to protect them while they were living completely with the harmony with the nature. Who give us the right to think that the illusion law and money we have now is better than what natives has? Who did say or have the right to decide what right and wrong if we already built this on a illusion? Crazy how a prostitute lead the nation asking for fairness. Or a politician will ask people to speak the truth while everything put him in his position is a lie from the first place. If you don't understand here, I'll explain why a politician want to be a politician. What is the motivation for that? If we ask a doctor why he or she want to be a doctor, most answers would be money and power before helping people. That's why we find only couple of doctors are really good at being a doctor and all others is taking it for a money or power. The same goes for politicians. Maybe one or two from a 10,000 want to help people, but the others is taking this job for money and power, to have a status among people so they don't work a real job, and with time they have the power, the money to control, and the business paying them millions to make things legal and illegal. And throughout history only original people who have been remembered in any occupation, even the war, only people who really want to protect themselves and their family had the glory. But now the money is the motivation. You can buy anything in money, but you can't buy original things. That's why we are in the illusion of living, but we are not. People wanna buy love, health, artwork, beauty, war, soldiers, etc. with money and never get anything. If you want to have original, you must stop the illusion. This note is written to who want to destroy the illusion and start building a real life for them and their children. The way is so hard and painful but inevitable. Things were different in the past and will be different in the future, but no one knows how or where. But the war is the reality of humans and animals alike. But when the war is for real reasons like food or water, then we all understand. But all the wars that happening now is for money and power, for the illuminate to control others just because they can. This must stop by the hands of the poor and naive, the farmer and the president alike, and the internet can help to bring the truth to light. The central banks who lend money that did not have is exactly like selling assets in the heaven, and then if you don't pay and you'll not be able to pay with time, the bank take your home, the real thing, and sell it back to someone else instead. If they really care about you is to keep the house and rent it to someone else until you pay, but no one is really care about you. They want you to be poor, to slave you, to work for them and never been able to go out of debt. There is many way to keep you in the dark, because if you see, then there is no need for them. The scams is simple. If you know the story of Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, then our life for the bank is like Tesla's life. They steal all your life energy and give you a hand in the shoulder and you die in a hotel room. This is exactly our story as humans. It's ugly reality, painful, huh? In our short life we think we can do everything we want and we full of energy and the life look bright. Then comes the law. Yes, the law, but this law is against people, not to help them. The law cannot stop the powerful who have money and power, but bend to them and for them. There is couple of families train and rise their babies to roll after them, and we rise up in families that did not know what they are doing. They rise up their children as they told, not as supposed to be. I rise up in a poor family where they don't know anything other than eat and shit and sleep, even if it seems that they push you to go to school. The school is a scam to make people tame to be a good slave, and when you program a child it's so hard to teach them when they grow up. We grow up struggling all our life thinking there is wrong in us, but the reality is we have no wrong in us but in the way we thought is right, while we are all dying anyway. Why we should die as they teach us while is better to die as we wish. It's hard to give up this life, but what the point if we have everything in this fake world, but in the end we are going to end in hell. All the religion and philosophy and the teaching is around happiness and integrity and purpose in life. But all what I can see is unpurpose in this life, just everyone doing banal activities just for nothing. Everyone find a reason to build his or her life around thinking they doing the right things and even call others on their what called mistakes. We all do shit, call it right and wrong, and between there is called mistakes. See, mistakes is the right or the wrong, or just is a doing for just a doing in the time we have in this what called life. My dad fucked my mom and create a thing called me. Me did not know why I'm here, but am here. I don't know why. From this moment they want me to be what they think I must be, but they never ask if I wanna be what they want me to be. The problem is not only mom and dad, the community that full of moms and dads want me to be what they want their children to be. You don't understand what the hell I'm saying, but deep inside you are sure you understand me perfectly. The point is talking about things almost everyone feel it, but the words are not able to describe it. Things like the law did not protect the idiots. The argument is we are all idiots and we don't need the education system, or the education system is created to make people above other people. I mean, is this, if we don't have the education system at all, then people will do random activities and then everyone have a chance to learn from mistakes, or everyone go to the education system and then there is a level to each person to be above the others. Even with the education system we have now, people who get everything in life tend to not follow the system but go around it. So when we go around the system we get what we want better than the system itself. And it goes to every system, like the law, the education, the farming, the food, the driving, etc. If someone goes to the driving license program and other just take a car to learn by himself, then the chances to get involved in an accident is the same, and sometimes the chances is higher for the ones who take driving classes. And because playing it safe from the start make people did not learn what dangerous are, then when dangerous situations appeared, the ones who take it from the start by his or her own tend to do better, and this applies in every system the human creates. That's why randomness is better results than making a plan. If we come to this life by randomness, why we accept other people to make us followers to their things or ideas. The system we are in now is cutting the chances of the smart to be in the right places by making the ones who blend in the system to decide what right is by the system, not by the correct. I mean this, who told us that going to the moon or invest in money is better than invest in building houses for all human in the desert, than destroying the environment with shit, instead of making the ones who have money decide where this money should invest and where should not. Like if I have a lot of money, then I have some other people shares of this money, because if we have $1 million and 1 million person in the earth, the right thing is every person most have $1, but if only 3 people have $800,000 and the remaining $2,000,000 for the rest, then the money of others is in the hand of only 3 people. And this people spend this money to go to the moon and not feeding the hungry people who have a right of ownership of $1. And in what right the 3 people get the most of the money? Is it because they are smart? Or because the others are naive? Or the system is putting others on top of the others so some do and some enjoy? If the meaning of the system is to make people have the copyright, then we must give all the rights to the ones nation who create the writing system, because if the knowledge that the 3 people have to ownership of the money comes from books and who created the writing have the right of copyright, then let's investigate in the copyright shit and rewrite the law of ownership. The harder I think about who am I, the easier is for me to notice that the king system is never vanished but updated. If we say people who have a lot of money have the right to own it, the question is who give them this right? Not me, not the poor, but the people who enjoy to be lazy and the naive who did not know how to be lazy. You did not get me? Some people think they have abilities, but in reality we have no ability. We are walking, talking animals, did not know what we are doing. Basically we know we are going to hell, but yet some of us faced things the other did not, and these things and experiences taught them to act in a way others accept them and give them more than they really are. The money is the only power they have. If the money system falls, then no more people control the man. The system we live in now is just a big fake joke, giving the ideology like program teaching a generations how to surrender. They just say whatever they told to say or do. Before, people used to travel in a great destinations on a horseback or walking, and with the time they had on their hands they used to spend all their times alone or talking to others on the road trip. But now the only things I see is walking phones or a sitting phone, a sleeping phone. People are a programs, not the phone. We all think that we are free with the technology we have now, but it's not. People are fat, lazy, dependent on medicine from the day they born up to the day they die. Think that if we live a little bit longer then we are going to live forever. Even if the life is so important for each one of us, what is that even means? Important. Gold, money, fame, sex, food, and on, and we say important for more shit. They ideologies us to think everything is important and the work is important. How the work is important if this work is not for me? Every work we do is for the money, and the money is not mine, so the work is not mine. If I work at a farm for 20 years for just eat and shit, then died giving everything after me to my children to continue the path of eating and shitting and on, it would be more logical than working for someone for 20 years, eat and shit plus kissing some other people asses for the money, then died giving my children debt and the habits of kissing asses. There is no glory of working for others. They program us to believe that we work for the greater good, for the country, for the benefits of us and others, while in reality we work for the others, for them to be lazy and live on the energy of us and our children. They teach us in the school that the most disrespectful jobs is the farm and go up to the king job, but what they did so to take our lands and make us slaves in the apartment buildings, kissing asses and shoes for the money holders. So now every single person in this earth dreaming of being something dreams a lot of dreams to make us sleeping, walking without any real thing other than dreams. The biggest scams in all humankinds is education systems. With this system they destroy the earth, the natural, the water, they poison every aspect in the universe, creating ideas and theories to get to God as they say before. But who told us that God want us to know him? God, if he is the creator of us, would never ask us to find him. Look at the animals. They once were more intelligent and powerful than humans, but they get to a point where they figure out that it is better to be a non-thinking creatures than a thinking, talking humans. The animals knows how to live in harmony with everything alive in Mother Earth, but humans is the fucking destruction, destroyer of everything, including themselves. Is funny sadness of us to think that we are the intelligent of the creatures, but look what we did up to now. Nothing but destruction and pain to every living and non-living thing on this planet. We are killers to every living thing on the planet, including viruses and bacteria. Thinks that we must protect ourselves or kind to survive. Surviving what? Nothing can kill us and nothing they're wanting to kill us, but we have done many damage that can't be revoked. And while we make laws for us to keep breeding, then we make laws for other animals to not breed, thinking we know everything and we can protect ourselves from the danger. But who is protecting us from the humans that think it's right to slave us? Who have the power to get that person who cleans the garbage from the streets more salary than the person who called themselves doctors? Doctors spend half of their life studies on the money of others to then find a job of making money from the pocket of others by saying he saves them. Do you think the humanity survive up to now because of the doctors? Of course not. The doctors and the ones in the pharmacy is hand by hand playing on the human weakness of the fear of death, and by knowing this all the medical system is stealing people's and creating an era of importance for themselves, and go on down to the people who farming and cleaning, all of them was working for the greater good of others, but not because they like them but because they give them money for the next day. It's a chain of dependent, it's a society full of lies and fake ugly reality no one dare to talk about, and anyone try to talk about it they get treated like criminals. How we expect from a person who have power and money to give it all to a weak and naive person? Of course it will be not possible, so that's why the chain of money and power must be tamed and controlled by the naive and poor, and even then this people most not get anything in returns but a food and house. And if I start speaking about things like destruction and criminals, then it's exactly the right things in life, not the things they teach us in school. The life is for the powerful, and it was like that for millions of years and up to the latest 400 years that we try to change it, but we can't. We just change it from form to other form. Now the powerful have no interest of killing the weak, but he have the chance to slave them, so why not? And if the weak try to stop in the face of powerful, then he use what called law to make the weak a criminal and get rid of them using the same law that puts them in their position, and so on. You see, no matter how much I try to find examples to make it clear that humans are the worst creatures on this planet, and the war that is coming should end them all to save the planet from their kind, imagine that instead of humans leading this planet is other creatures like rabbits. According the rabbits' attitude, they will eat everything before they start to starve, because there will be nothing to eat anymore. And from this example you can see that humans is no different than any other creatures, but the power and even with the brain they have, they could not control the powerful, and continues to the same road that the rabbits could take. The war should happen and will happen, and we can see it in reality in the movies. In every place in the earth people hates and want what others have, or we need to find a way to stop every powerful person or company or computer from control, and it start with money system. This system is not for the human good. This system is making people compete with each other, and that's the problem. Equality is an option but not to be used. The problem with humans, they learn and adapt, then they find their ways to use any system to get over it and make it work for their advantages. That's why any system that meant to help humanity, with time they find a way to make the system works in the other direction of the original purpose of that system. Let's say the law most protect people, but with time the law is the way to kill and mislead them and use them, and there is many examples, yet no one wants to be controlled by any system. To find a way to make humans equal is hard because they are not. Some are stronger, some handsome, others smarter, and the list goes on, but we can and most find a way to make them equal. The life make the death of its species the equality of them all, but the question remains how we can make equality before dying. To answer this question we must look at the spiritual laws, not the actions law that we have now. What I mean about this, either we stop all government practices and money practices, and instead of creating wars in other countries and use people to pay for it by monopolies and media lies. Governments use media to mislead its people to believe whatever the government and the politics and the rich who plays in the background to kill and create wars in other countries is people important, or just a lie like any other lies. We live, we all going to die, but that doesn't means to use this aspect to sell and kill and lie for some to get what they want and others get misled and used. The argument is hard and no one will talk or think of it as it is. If I'm going to die, that doesn't mean I should take everyone else with me. and if I'm going to die doesn't mean I should kill others so my children get everything and others' children get slaved and their children by my power. It goes like that now. President, kings, rich, everyone in the great power trying to save their families from the harshness of life by using their knowledge that they accomplish in their life or get it from their parents and apply it to use and mislead other to accomplish more and more of what they have and others' lives by their roles. If this life for one person or two then it's okay, but as I know this life is for everyone and everyone means a president or a king is the same as cleaner, who did give more important to the king than the cleaner. If we back in time, the king is the ones who create this aspect of triangle system, so the king give his son the kingdom and what in it like people and animals and land, and up to now nothing changes. The ones who get more by using their intelligence to accomplish more and more then give everything to their offspring, while in their accomplished life they take everything from others using the laws that they create and by policies to pass that law. Then both the politician and the person get more and more, while others get shit and anger and homeless. Then the homeless spend their lifetime working for the ones who create the law, who slaves them, then died giving their children more debt, and the circle goes like that for a long time. We think we are in the future, but it's not. We get everything updated including the slave system, and we must find a way to stop all this practices. What the point of living angry, unsatisfied, knowing what the problem is but not able to solve it or talk about it in this system? If I want to be happy I need to use the law, which is the same law that slaves others to make me happy. What if I don't want to be happy or rich but others to be equally like everyone else? Imagine there is no money system and education system. Everyone would planting their own potatoes and eating from their hands, and would be better than creating a fake future built on lies and monopolies. In this argument the people who are in power will not accept it, saying they have the right to use their intelligence for their benefits, while the poor will the poor have no intelligence to protect their rights. So if we want to continue this fake humanity we must shut up and agree to everything they say. There is something I need to mention. The wealth everyone hate or has or will have is by the poor who did not know how to monopolize or lie. It goes like this: a person named X want to be lazy and don't want to work hard, and the other alphabet letters want the same, but all the others ask directly about their wishing, but X calm, and everyone start to fight for the position and take sides, but X stays on the side. The fight grew until they are exhausted. Then comes X and use his power that never intact in the fight and start helping each letter under one condition: if he give him some of his remaining power to take over the others, and with each letter he help he get more and more power to the point that no one remain in the end. What happened later is X have the power over all letters, so he get lazy and the others work for him, and when any letter try to take his position again, X use the same tactical move again and again, because the one who helps him most get little lazy by comparison, and the one who did not help him get more weak, and it goes like that in the human world. Some people like their position and the way things are and the benefits they are in, and whenever anyone else try to take back his position they call him criminal. Yes, the king, the rich, the politics, the government can kill millions by the hand of the public, and the public call them heroes, and they reap all the benefits, while the people who did the war or the killing end up in the streets, hunger, injured, sad, and if he try to go back to his life that been stolen from him they call him a criminal and put him back in the dark. You see the point now? No, you don't, because the program we are in is so hard to rewrite it or delete. If we want to do this we should do chaos, and this is the right system for everyone to live free. Freedom is to live without any law and money, and when we do this we are really free. But what about the ones who steal and kill and rape and all the other crimes that they call them criminal? I can tell you the same system that make people rich and others poor is the same system that make this what they called criminals. No one born criminal and no one want to be criminal, but when you take someone's food from their mouths they will steal to eat, and then comes the police system not to arrest the one who take the food from the first place, but they arrest the one who steal to eat, but not the one who take the land and make the one who owned it from the beginning. We all born without any responsibility and growing up on the mistakes that our parents did, then they teach me to follow or be pushed away, and his most stop and need to stop. No one will like my argument because many benefits from it and many did not know about it, and many like it and thrive on it, and many are afraid because they may die. But how long we are going to live in fake system and under the fake people? The biggest criminal in the world is not the one who killed his wife because she cheats on him, or the one who kill his friend because he steal his car. The criminal is the ones who have the government and all that connected to it. You see, the countries around the world have the same system of any other countries, and did not matter the language, and if any regime try to pop up they call them terrorists or criminal or whatever bad name they could make, so their positioning power stays untouchable, or the ones that try to take over the government following the law get smashed by obstacles that made by the former government, and the politicians that maybe could lose their throne, and the rich who supports them, so they will never be able to change the system, and it goes on and on until people start to awake and notice the monopoly, the matrix, the game, the life, the reality, whatever name they call it. I know there is food for everybody on this earth, but some among us restricted to make the one in need work for them by their roles or else die, and all the others who witness the death of their friends be afraid to face the same fate, and all the rights is wrong and all the wrong is right. Women's want the manpower and man want the pussy power. Children have no guidance but to work and work without no goals, and the old not sure if they are going to get their pensions, and this you don't know. That government rises up the pension age from 60 to 65, and then they will rise it to 70, so basically they want you to work until you die, and all you think that is guaranteed is flying up the air. See, there is no hate for individuals but the system itself, the make the individuals misuses the power for their benefits, and by that being said the change must be the system, not the individual, because all of us when we have the chance we will do exactly the same like the kings do or did or they will do. We must use the technology we have to make the judgment public, and no CIA or secret services. No more law that punch the weak and the rich pay and run away. We must make all individuals have the same salary, everyone, not 1% or family have everything and others have nothing, not even food on the table. Equality in everything make people unable to buy others, and there must be a lifetime for everything company made, because they make things these days to be broken after a year so they sell more. And then they tax the poor for the climate change. There must not be a private jets, everyone can ride a normal plane, everyone have a car, or everyone use a public transport, and many other solutions. We can exchange it with this fake system that makes some individuals masters and other slaves. Everyone must have the right to roll, not depends on any education or money aspect. Who says that the people who have education knows more than the ones that not? There must not be any insurance companies, all of them is taking money to get rich and greedy instead of helping. Everything they say is for the people turned out to be for some people. Every education system must teach people about the twisted ways of the rich, not how to work for them and call it life success. What is successful means anyway? If every person learn how to get rich and set on the back of others means successful, then I don't want to be successful. I want to be equal to everyone else, not more not less. And in these days anyone speaks about equality is a stupid. Yes, not everyone equal, but we can make it so. The thing is who have the courage to say the truth even if it affects him or her. Who would give his throne to others without asking for exchange? Who dare to speak out even if he is wrong? Who? No one, because the system we are in is promoting the lies over the honestly spoken. promoting laziness over hard work, or promoting prostitution over integrity. How should we live fully if we are fake from inside? We all want to make our logic to be followed by others, and our ideas is the guidelines for others, and money, fame, power is our motivation in this life, not because this things is success, but it is what make us feel free, feel alive. When we get these things, we get on the top of the others and promoting our ideas, and by getting there make us think that because we are there that means we are right in everything we do and say. We worship ourselves and ask the others to do so, and if anyone say anything against our beliefs and ideas, then he or she is a hater, a loser who can't get what we have, so he is not successful and need to take him out of the society. Who want to go to the moon? If we ask a person from Africa, do you want to go to the moon, he would say, is there food there? See, a lot of humanity are hungry and millions is been dropped on a technology that not so important than feeding the humanity. In the other hand, not feeding this people will make them hungry, and then they will work so cheap in their own land to mine the resources and send it to other countries hoping they get paid, but what they get is hunger, and the ones who use their resources get rich and then spend their money on creating weapons and going to the moon. They sell Africa the Bible and take over the lands. This is a shit system and they know it, but no, we must shut our mouth and continue to approve on what they say and do. Even worse, they get more arrogant and call the people of the land who want to defend themselves a terrorist. What is this shit? Is it right or wrong? They teach us that the policing system is to protect people, but here is a short story. You can add it together with the potatoes story that I wrote in previous chapter. The kings hate a lot of gold and he will not have time to sit and watch over his gold, so he takes couple of the slaves and gives them weapons and put them there to protect his gold, and up to now is the same. You see that the police job is not to protect the society from criminals but to protect the king's money. So in these days the gold divided between the government and the politicians and the rich, which they don't have time to protect the money that they take from the public, so here comes Mr. Officer to protect it for them. Simple but effective. It's not a long story, but you got the idea. They teach us that society functions is depending on people helps each other, but in reality society is the poor, the slaves work for the lazy, and the rich and the government. It goes like that. Let's say a car needs 10 people to create and they work for a month and they get 1g gold, then comes the king and buy the car in 10g gold. The month for each of them is like that. The king have 1 kilogram gold and the laborers have nothing in the end of the month because they pay for the food and the rent and the problem is that the king did not get his gold from working but from the people who build the car. In the end of the month the laborers pay taxes to the king, who give himself and his family the right to own the people, energy and their lands. So the ones who built the car can't afford to buy, and the king can buy the car and the labor, energy and their time. Why? Who did this system? The powerful eat the weak. This is what we are in this world. The power is the winner, and to make it easier, the governments that roll the world now is like the gangsters on the street. When any new gang comes to create a business, the other old and stronger gang kill and tax and beat the new gang, and the government's the same, but all of them works for the money which is in the central bank. And who owns the central bank? Here is the question: who owns the central bank? Who owns the government? Who said the obligation should be for lifetime? Who said that if I sign something that means I'll be obligated to commit to whatever they write or say? This is the law. Anyone created the law can create a chaos when they want and where they want. When the situation did not go as they please, they create terror, create weapons, create mercenaries, and all of it can be done by money and gold. And what exactly happens in the world is not the terrorists' organizations but who created them in the first place. You see the war between two or more parties, only the ordinary people who died for the cause but who created the cause did not die in the battlefield but by operations done by the ones who did not want the change to happen. The problem with all of it is, why should I die for the cause but not the ones who created it? Why should I kill others and be a mercenary for the governments, but if I kill anyone for my own agenda it called crime? Why some countries have the right to have nuclear weapons and the others not? Why should I live my life under the power of humanity, not under the power of nature? Why should I rise up my children on the knowledge of deceit instead of honesty? Why should I work for the governments but not the other way around? The obligation of God goes like that: without the humans there is no God, and without the humans there is no governments. If you want to be free you must do mistakes and not hold accountable for it, but if you kill someone you must pay, or the families of the killed one will take revenge from the killer. You see, the law now is if you kill someone you must be killed the same way, but if the families of the killer have a lot of money he goes free. The problem is not in the killing or revenge, the problem is in the ones who hold the power, and if so, why accumulated power in the way that called legal is not the same as accumulated illegal? And here we go, who create the legal and illegal? Is it legal to kill, but legal to defend yourself? Is it legal to live for some people and others illegal? Let's go to the weapons creators. They have the right to create things to kill, but in a legal way, but if I use it I called criminal. The one who attacked called aggressor, and the one who get attacked called victim, and goes like that for the law and people called who following this law civilizations, and the ones who follow the natural laws called savages. What I can see is this: because of the savages' ways we are here today, and because of the civilized ways many natural creatures end, and we lived on the blood of each other and other animals, and if a lion killed a person we called the lion savage and kill the lion just because the human is more valuable than the lion, and if we continue this way we will not have lions or any other creature to live with us because we treated them in a civilized way. The problem is who give us the right to end the world while other savages once did not kill us like the way we do to them. If the savages did to us like what we do to them, then we won't be existing the way we are now, so we must create a savage organization that hold the powerful accountable for their actions, and this organization must have no law. Would you agree of it? No, you're not, because you don't want to be at the same level as the flies you kill every day, because you think that you understand the existing more than the things who created you and the fly. You see, the point is everything is connected, and the same argument about who is first, the egg or the chicken. Then killing a fly is not your right or the right of our existing, because we all came from the effort of the doing of each other. What I mean here, there is blood in my body the same as the blood of the chicken or the horse or elephant, and by knowing this we must protect everything on this earth or our existence is in danger, even if the process kill a human. Would anyone exchange his life for a fly? If not, then who told us that killing the flies would make our lives better? See, all the lifespan of any creature is for a reason, and by this reason the law must be against the powerful before the weak. The money system make it legal to kill as much fish as possible, while in the reality if we eat the dead bodies of our own kind be more logical than killing other creatures to eat. No one will regulate this, right? Because, or let's say, instead of dropping the corpses of our kind under the soil we should processes them and feed the lions instead of killing the lions and take their lands because we can. No one will like this argument because of the idea we feed ourselves in the process of being civilized, right? Everyone will argue about climate change, but no one say that our number is the first problem, and after a 100-year only we may be 80 billions eating each other for living, and for this instead of spending the money on the moon and to go other places in the universe, better to fix our planet. But no, the greedy ones will not agree to this because they don't really care or they never think about it. All this shitey system talking about money and get rich, but the important things is never and never. We'll be talking about things more important than Nicki Minaj underwear or what did the famous actor eats every day. Things that affect us every day, like the food we eat, the houses we live in. They sell us water, or let's say a bad water by cans, and they put a label on it like Coca-Cola or Pepsi and many more. A lot of sugar with water where natural water is much better and healthier, yet people pay a lot to drink this shit while they know from inside how much problems they get from drinking sugar cans. Our life like a bubble, it grows then suddenly pops up and another bubble comes until we die. The problem is not with the bubble itself but the people who created it. They don't care about the health of anyone, they just use them to make their pocket full and make it legal by paying the politics to keep the bubble alive and grows way more. Our life is not like before. Imagine with me how life was before 1000 years ago. It's exactly like now without Coca-Cola and nice house or a car and the future tools or devices we have, yet people enjoy each other's party and contact eyes to eyes, face to face, and they just live their lives without needing all the bubbles we have now. They bombarded us with ads, commercials, fake stuff, and they play on our emotions to get what they want from our energy, and all what we get is nothing, literally nothing. If you drink water from your house and a Coca-Cola from a grocery, what you get is taste that last a couple of seconds, but the effects is way longer. But the water, you can't survive without it and no one can replace it. Yet people now, if they see someone drinking water and refuse to drink Coca-Cola, then he is an Ice Age person and shamed him for not joining the Coca-Cola club. Sometimes I feel like I wanted to smash people in the face to wake up and start thinking for themselves, yet it's a crime to do that. But it's not a crime to feed people shit every single day, but the waking up hurts and benefits, and the sleeping paying moving pocket is a source of money for the system that thrive on stupidity of the majority. And some of you who are going to read this shit am writing going to offended because he drink shit and buy for his family, and in the end of the month you see him and his family like elephants rolling the market to buy more shit. It's not sad, it's miserable, because they ban the use of marijuana, which is a medicine free for all, to sell us more paracetamol shit for their profits, which is nothing but white capsule with laterally no effect. But the profits in these days are important than the human life. Everyone knows we are going to die, yet they sell us shit in our lifetime so they die and give their children everything they earn from the energy and effort of the majority, who also dies and give their children unhealthy life with debt to continue the bubbles moving in the directions their masters want. And this example is applicable in every market and industrial places on this earth, from cars to food to medicine to politics, and continue if you like. I like to live my life free and all others to live free, but how we can be free if there is people benefit from controlling us? We now like the horse and the rider. The horse make all the effort and sleep in the dirt, while the rider do nothing and sleep in the nice place where this place creates from the first place on the back of that horse. Drinking Coca-Cola, then you get fat, so you pay more for medication and you lose your teeth, and the more funding is they play in your mind that you need to use toothpaste and brush, while this is the things that take you to the dentist if you use it. So they made you destroy your tooth to go and pay for dentist, which in return the dentist describes more of the toothpaste and brushes. Is funny, but people believes in this shit. And way more fake news and propaganda to trick people on a habits that benefits only the masters, and this masters did not care if you brush your tooth or die from cancer as long as you pay them. That's why the money system most fall down to make the ones who want to create a device or a service to create it with integrity and with only a reason to benefit the people, not the ones who create. And this goes to every industrial and medical and any aspect of our life. Before Nikola Tesla is more respected and admired by all the nations and died alone and poor, while the greedy rivals who were jealous from his innovation and he was smarter than them all, yet they use his energy and life to advance themselves, leaving the Creator in poverty and pain, yet no law could save him. And it's like that in every aspect in our life, and this make us angry and sad, and we must find an end to this attitude of undeserved people. All the poor of this world is like Tesla, they know how to work hard but they don't know how to live out from the benefits of their hard work, and that's why we most recreates the financial and law systems to make people equal, not some better than others. Even if this means the people in the top will suffer, we all suffer from time to time, and they can leave their greedy life of enjoyment and join the life of planting their own potatoes. It's no shame with that, and everyone who want to create something to remember that their creation did not come from their effort only, but the work of others also played the role of their creation. The language, the books, the materials, everything that lead to the creation of anything is the effort of others also, and not to be forgotten or take advantage of it. People want to live like every other creatures in this universe, but we must stop the rivals. The energy of us is not the fame or the rich of others, it's ours to take and use. And if there some people will disagree with this note, it means they may enjoy the suffer of others and is a rivals who enjoy living on the energy of the real people. So stand up for your right and die for what's right, not what they tell you it's right. What I mean is this: in the nature all animals live and thrive, even with the attacks of lions and the viruses, natural disasters. Still the death of a species bring another to life, and we as human, we killed many species, not for food, neither for protection, but for pleasure and greed. And still we think, and they teach us that we most work for gold and money and copper and material things, while all other species did not care or know about this element, and why we think that this is the right thing to the future. Who told us that playing with the natural elements and extracted them from their natural places did not affect the all species, including us human? We create the phone, let's say, and we know how the phone worked, but do we know how the earth created? We know only theory, and each year comes another theory to deny the old ones, and so on. But we really did not know, and I am here now, one of a humans who read and write and uses the technology that others created, and feel safe in the house I'm in with a car to drive and so on. But do I really need it? They told me that these things make it easier for our kind, but not for the other creatures. Yes, I live in a house, and the place of this house was once a home for some other species, and the car drive on the roads, which is a home to other species. And we can say almost everything we do is safe for us but dangerous for others. And this what I mean, the discovery we are happy about now may be the end of us all later, and that's why most of the elements we are dependent on now is hidden beneath, and we all fight to use more and more of this element. Some of it we discovered later that it's dangerous for us and others, and yet we keep advancing, thinking of living forever and find the way of immortality. Yet what if nothing is supposed to be immortal? We have gold in our bodies, but we can't eat gold or copper or zinc. We are from this earth, but if we are so smart as we think, why not return everything to its place and live like animals? What? Did I offend your intelligence, people? Is it a stupid to come back like monkeys? If instead of cutting the trees to build a home on the trees without cutting it? Why not build the house inside the woods and live with harmony with the nature? Why we create many things we don't need, like everything have a meaning? What if there is no meaning for us at all? And the same way that we see animals and say, look how stupid animals are, the animals look at us the same way and laugh on our stupidity. If we look deeper inside our emotions, we can see that the same emotions that brings us to the future we are in is the same emotions that going to brings us to the end of us. The way we think and act, we call it our nature ways, and the natural brings us to this state for reasons. This reasons is what make us fight and love, lie and truth, greed and jealousy and so on. And the way we use this emotions is the natural chemistry. We are not who we are if we don't have them, and we are going to use them to the end of us. If you see it definitely, then explain why we divorce if we love and why we fight if we were friends. Why we kill if feel threatened and call it self-defense. The emotions of us is the creator and the end of us, and if anyone or anything control it, then we are not who we are. That's why these days they try to control us by media and technology, and that would backfire sooner or later. And someone would argue about how much we advance up to now, but I can say it's May 200 year only, not yet. We still have everything like 2000 years before, fight and war and greed, everything the same, and only what changes is the devices. Kingdom up and down, war served the power, and law protected the rich, not the poor. So what changes? Nothing. They make us followers to whatever make them rich and make us poor, make them powerful and make us weaker, make their offspring safe and our slaves. See, in chimpanzee world anyone can fight the top chimp to take everything from him, but in our world you can't, because the ones whom in power did not fight face to face, but they hide in the back of monopolies ways. They make a lot of obstacles to reach the first step, then another 100 step where your energy is smashed under twisted ways and lies and cowards. Then they put the blame on you for not following the rules. Who created the rules is the same that benefits of it, not me. The problem with the law and the rules is no matter what technology we have, anyone could using it both sides, but all the technology and laws we have now and had before and will have in the future will supposed to serve the people, but the history shown us that every technology meant to serve the people become the technology to slave and make humans miserable, and the benefits goes to the ones most deceiver, and they gain the rich and the majority gain nothing. If you don't get me, I'll give you an example. Climate change that they blow up our brains with it lately is not by the poor or ordinary people, but by the big factory, the weapons, nuclear tests, war and much more. Factory create cheaper products that broke faster to create more and higher consumers and more scrape, so they make the rules that work for them. Then they blame the people for the climate change, then the poor and ordinary people pay tax for the climate change, and this most stop. Who told us that it must be this way? Why should we do what serve the people who destroy us? Who says that going to the money is more important than cleaning the water or planting the desert or cleaning the ocean from the plastic or much more things? And not only that, why should I follow the law if this law is not for the good of humanity but the good of the deceiver? The rich did not get richer because they are born like that, but because the system we are in is the creator of this type of people. The law protect the deceiver and punch the naive and the poor and put all the blame on them. The war master get richer, but whoever fight that war get poor, plus arm or foot been cut or brain damage. In the history of us human, the war is for the rich and greedy who learn to use the poor for their agenda and then tax them, pushing them to the front lines while staying in the back and much more. But people and majority are so naive to know this, they just say this the world we live in, but know this the world we let to be, and we can shape it again. The war must not be against the poor and the other poor, but let the rich fight their war and we can watch it, and we will be much entertaining for us. And the world will see the truth, why everyone is trying to define the world as he or she see it, but according to the vision we have now, the definition of a future is naked women, wicked men, silly programs, social media people called influencer. They're brainwashed people with the silly videos. Then the people who is running the social media is the one who wins while creating a generations of silly people. They know nothing more than junk food and porno. If I want to write every shit around us and silly things, I will not end this note, but I can tell you this: the same way that our ancestors died and some stones is their legacy, our world now is plastic and shit and data that going to vanish without any trace. Our system and all the things we own, we hate and have going to vanish. So why we afraid to express what we think is true? What true is this? No matter what we are and where we come from, no one and no thing should control us or decide what to do or what we become. But you need to remember, with the total freedom comes a lot of problems, because is someone steal from you, you have two options: take it back in force or live it, or don't own anything at all to be stolen. And this what happened now and before. If the greedy ones did not steal from you, the police will do, or the government, or the rich, and there is many ways they do it, but still best solution is to own nothing. If I ask any one of you, what did you get if you own a new car or a house or a gold, whatever you think is worth something, be sure that there is someone else who make it worth something, so they benefit from the idea of it. People need three things to live: water, food and air. Anything else is not worth anything. If we look at the animals, they live in the woods or savanna, they sleep in the nature, drinking water and eat, and we think this is animals' world, but in reality they are the living life fully without any attachment or someone told them what to do. Yet when they die they just vanish and go back to the nature, and that's it, nothing more. That's why the whole system we have now is from the creations of us and is not working for all but for some, on the back of all others, and for the benefits of some of us and not all. So the system must rebuild to fit all of us, and only three things are valuable: water, air and food. Any other things is just a destruction to our own existing. Yet some of us, they want to argue that am not been realistic here. How the other thing that they are more realistic than me? All the technology we have now and will get in the future is nothing more than destroying than building. Think like that. If we don't have all the technology we have now, the humanity numbers may be half of what it is now, and people died from many type of illnesses or war or disaster, yet they would live more happier than we are now, not because they want to, but because all the technology we have now is blocked us from living the way our bodies most work. Every one of us will understand what I mean when they leave all the destruction around them and sit alone in the room, and the lonely self will talk to them about how real my world is. We human are thriving on illusion. We create God, we create technology, we create ourselves, yet we don't know what we want or what are we doing. Then if anyone tries to wake us up from the dream or the matrix we are in, we usually accuse them to be crazy or illusion or criminal or whatever the name you choose. Still many of these people are right. We are afraid of the reality. We don't want to die, and that's why we are going to do everything to fill that gap of the end of our lives, and we create more and more, buy more, have more, and we try to satisfy our illusion by religious aspects or law or justice or technology, even creating ourselves by more and more babies, creating robots, want to find the permanent life without death. Even the short life we have now is making many people using others, making their life miserable, that many of them killed themselves because of the unfair in this short life, while some other lives on this unfairness, and they like it, protecting it by creating law and money system and police system to justify their actions, not admitting the truth that no matter what they are trying to do, in the end they are going to suffer and vanish. Don't drop the word depression or try to twist my words to satisfy yourself. The opposite of depression is happiness, right? But the happiness will never delete the reality of the end of our life. So if you ask any animal to laugh, you'll find only humans that can laugh, not because they are happy, but because this is the only way that make them forget the ugly truth that nothing is going to last, and this moment of laughter is just a cover to forget. Yet everyone decided that depression is illness, but happiness is a normal. Who said or decides what right and what wrong, what normal and what not normal? Things people fix to believe that it's not legal or it's damaged the fake society. This society is damaged, full of illness, and what legal is not and what is not illegal is legal. People did not know what to do anymore. They go to a lawyer to defend them when they are lying, and the victim goes to jail. People go the doctors to give them any type of medical shit, while the only thing they need is to move their body like sport or walking a little. People ask for advice from shrink or psychologist to guide them how they live their life, or if they have problems. All this and more fixed jobs and occupation is just because of many people and they did not find job for them then playing in human life to take advantage of the normal people who work on normal jobs and take their money by the illusion of helping them while in fact they are using them for their own benefits, taking their money and energy to live better than them, while all of us is going to hell in the end, and the doctor can't protect themselves from death, nor the lawyer or the judge, not even the rich. They just use other people by playing on the weaknesses to get advantage of them. Do money help people or destroy the planet? The most troubling thing is that we as normal people want to live normal, but we can't do it any more. Regulation: how we eat and what, how we sleep and when, how we shower, swim, even the toilet have rules. We are to many people in the small places like cities, and we getting more and more laziness, and we think the animals are not like us, but if you look closely at the chickens or the pigs in the farms, they put them in small places and feed them all the day and lights in the night until they get so big in a couple of months. We live like them or worse. We used living in the wild and we used to run and eat, no need to shower every day or go to gym because it was provided by the nature. But now we are cursed by big corporations with their poison ideas and marketing shit: the shampoo, the shower, the gym, the cream, the toothpaste, and a lot more shit to buy and buy, to the point that the only difference between the human and the pigs is the language. Yet I respect the pigs more because they don't destroy the nature like the human do and does and going to do. Our number is way too much for the resources, and we all know, but they want to deny it until one day every single one of us, the normal people and the deceivers, going to regret. The masses of people and the propaganda is feeding shit to us by creating the happy ever after syndrome. Basically is telling people to go to the mall and buy stuff and eat shit until they die. Not a single media tells the masses that they need to stop buying shit and instead work for their own benefits. See, we all leaves the village we grow up in to go to the big city, the high life, the bars, the cars, the business and on. But this is not a life at all, but a pig's life in an apartment 4x4 eating junk food, stay inside the all day, then go out to the car from seat to seat. All of this is not a life, it's a battery for the others. While in the village people get dirty working in the field, feeding the livestock, cleaning the yard, walking in the muddy days and picking the natural food to make a really nice healthy meal. The thing is that they destroy all of the village life with the media and the lies that the more we work shitty jobs and getting payments, and then what? Then most of the villagers sell their land to move to the city to live there, thinking it's more better and easier, but what they did not know that they destroy their life for a false idea. Even there is no purpose in life but to give your offspring a land after you is better than any other material things or job that brings you money. The war is about lands, more natural materials, but the war is fought in the hand of the slaves for the king. Yet after the war ends, the slaves comes back to work for the king who never fought or done anything. Yet the king and the politicians and the rich take the energy of the slaves and put it in their hands to gain more money, status, power. And in the slaves' world, the fathers who died in the battlefield and never comes back, leaving their offspring to the mothers whom worked, prostitute or find other men to sleep with, making the children see everything but not the role model that the death of their fathers deny them to follow, creating a weak gay generation who know nothing about what a man should be and do. And the girls see their mother attitude as normal, so they do the same when they grow up, and the women take the advantage of this by making the man submissive instead of natural ways. See, when a boy sees his mother going with other men after the death of her husband in the war, then he got confused and thinks to himself that this how the life works, and when he grow up to start his own life, he did not know more than what his mother used to do, so he thinks all the women must be like his mom, so the natural ways is flipped. The idea of role models is damaged, the purity of the men and women is damaged, and up to now we see men want to be women and men are weak and submissive gay. We see prostitution is a normal and a business, and the women want the power of men. We see women can't stay in a relationship with a man because he is weak. Men accept any shit the women did. Yet we most not speak the truth because someone could get offended. Who give a fuck about offended? The life itself is offended for some people because they don't want to understand it the way it is but the way others teach them to live, and many more evidence on the twisted ways the community is thriving on making the wrong becomes right and the right becomes wrong. There is a lot more to talk about this subject, yet the note is not on this but must be mentioned. The most ugly truth nowadays is women selling themselves online while weak men buying it. The media strip the women in the movies and TV shows, porno online big business, and the new generation watching, learning and applying, and if a father or a mother, a real father and mother, trying to stop them or teach them the right ways, the government discriminate them. No one could teach their children anymore because the way to slavery did not go together with the right ways, or the family way. See, we all try to find a purpose in life, to act or try to act in a way that make us happy, but happy is a feeling for 5 minutes and then what? Nothing. Back to the normal where reality is active all the time. Boys and girls did not know what they are anymore because none of them live in the environment that supports their body and the activities that they supposed to do, so they try to create new activities to pass the time. We have fingernails that not in use anymore, so the women colored them to look nice, but a hard-working woman with a dirty fingernails is turned off, yet we feel disgusted about what we were before as a human animal, yet we think by coloring our fingernails or have a shoes in our foot that we are not animals anymore but a god or something else. We like to deny who we are to get the fake happiness that they sell us in the online market. Man used to hunt, to go out in the wild and run fights. Some of them never go back to their family, and women raise the children and take care of them. But what happens now is man have nothing to hunt and women have nothing to raise. Both are out of purpose, struggle to find one, and they will never in this era. Many would argue that man hunt for money, but that is not a hunt but a combative game where the hunt is material achieved, not really a fight for your life with a bull. This day's hunt is taking money by dancing or prostituting is easily bring money and status, while working as hard-working labor is bringing nothing than miserable life. The purpose in life is what we most aim for if we want to live fully, but that purpose is vanished from us and we struggle to find one, and in the process we lose ourselves and try to find who we are by thinking man can be women and women be man, and between recently things start to go far away in describing who we are, yet our appearance was playing a big role in our interaction. But what it means to call someone she if he appears to be he, and vice versa. Should we lie to ourselves and deny what we see? Or should we just play fool and call people what they want? As I said before, freedom is a word but not a fact. There is no freedom but a lie, so those who flip from she to he or from he to she is a pawn to be played when it's needed. If anyone want to have sex with anyone it's okay, but not to make a law for it. See, animals just do sex in limited time and in seasons to reproduce, but humans' evolution developed as a play because they can survive in every weather and season, so they develop the habit of playing with each other anytime anywhere because of boredom and other factors. And every religion speaks about sex in a way of restriction, not because of God but because of the emotional problems that comes with it. See, cheating trigger a very powerful emotion that most of the time end up with a crime. Some people could have control, some are not. That's why every religion tried to restrict sex or add rules to it. Yet nowadays there is no limit or rules to control sex, so everything goes, and we can see a lot of nonsense everywhere now. People have no control over their needs, yet it's not easy to get it as it was before, Women's are picky, but now they are protected by the rules, so the weak men find it hard to get to them, so they find it easier to be with the same sex, and many of them get rejected by women, so they turn to hate and then to be gay better than getting rejected again. And for women who want a strong man, find it hard to find that man in this world after most of them died in war or get the women they want, so they end up in the same sex category called lesbian. There are many other factors for this category, including how this individual grows up early in their life and the abuse they get when they were small children, including, as I mentioned before, the absence of one of the parents or the new stepfather or mother who entered the family. So what we become later in life is the mistakes we got in the past, or we can put it like this: we are the combination of the mistakes that had happened in our life before. We are the mistakes of the parents, and we do the mistakes to the new children. We are not aware yet this is life as we know it. We are the victim of the past. We can fix the future, but it is so hard and need a lot of effort. But the sad thing is, not everyone have the courage to face the challenges and fight, but most individuals surrender to the weaknesses and accept what they become, or they like what they become. The same problem as the fat people who call themselves fatty, and they think it's okay to be fat. Yet they don't want to fight and go to the gym and stop eating all the time, but they accept their weaknesses and try to impose it on others. The same with religion, the same with the poor, the same with the rich. See, many aspects in life is the same, but the sad truth is that most of this people did not know the how to exit, or the road is too hard to walk through the change, so they die as they assigned of the past mistakes. The way to equality is so hard, like the death itself. If we can push people to die by their own will, then we can start to push equality among people. I am going to publish this note and see if there is real people who take the truth as it is, then I'll write more about the subject that comes in the note. The pain of the world today is not the technology or the money or power, it's simply the time. What I mean by that is this: many philosophers, the greatest are the old times where they had all the time in the world, not much of the toys we have now. They hate a horse and space to think. If they want to cook something, like, they most spend half the day to bring the material to start the fire, to wash things, and everything was simple, and then they were not bored, but they sat and think. And people were bored like now, but instead of watching movies or playing games or whatever destructive activities they are involved now. Back in the days they had only sex and fight and time to get bored from the simple life they had. They create all the great philosophy we still study up to now, and even the greatest philosophy of our age is lonely. People spend much of their time alone thinking about the shit going around them, yet they dive deep into the human psychology and inside their own psychology to find a purpose to our fading life. We all want to be immortal, and the history and the modern days full of story and books and movies, theater and more, imagination full of immortal, of humanity and gods. But why we most find a meaning to ourselves if there is only one, which is the earth itself. We are immortal. We bring babies, teach them to be like us, then time passes, we create things and call it technology, and our children update the old technology to fit their time, and their children going to do the same as we did, and on, which means that there is no time and space but only a circle. All the universe and technology and everything we are able to know and feel and think is a circle of things. The universe is circle around a circle, and so on. That only means we are immortal until the circle stops, and our children is the immortality of us, and they are going to keep the circle going. Yet some of us want to be the center of it, and it's not wrong, and that only mean one thing: everything inside that circle have the right to do that. Even the cockroaches have the same right as humans, with every meaning of it. If we dominate the earth with the knowledge we have now, I guarantee you that the cockroaches hate and still have a part of it. We all connected in every possible way. The problem is if we continue to follow the law of some of us thinking that this is the universe law, we are mistaken because many of this laws is breaking the circle of connections. What I mean is this: we live up to now on the back of animals, yet none of us would accept to call him or her donkey, yet we still deny how much the donkey played a big role in our history up to now. That's why we are not intelligent as we think, and even if the intelligent we have now is not fully understood where it comes from. Have any one of you ask a simple question, which is why we here if there is many other creatures also here, if not for reason? If we dominate the earth with our brain, is that means this is the right way? And if most of us in this what we call life working exactly in a natural order, I'll explained in nature we see predators and prey in everything, so the circle is rolling, yet in our human ways we work exactly like that. There is predators among us and a prey among us in a way that we most keep the circle rolling, but in this order everything comes to natural ways, which means we are not intelligent or smart but a natural way of Mother Earth, which means also the prey have every right to dominate the predators. I mean from all this the role of everyone on this earth most done perfectly, no matter how much we create. The systems we human creates is not a natural law but a creation, and the people who believe in creation of gods deny the right of the normal to fight for their place in this earth. If a lion eats up person, then the blame most on the human because the lion did not interact with the natural law but exactly the opposite. The lion keep the circle rolling and the connection between the Mother Earth. The lion is normal, but in our racism to our own creatures make it seem like the lion did something wrong, but exactly the opposite had happens. We take the land of the animals and give them sand to live in and take them to the museum to watch them as entertaining, then we put the blame on the lions for eating us? Or we kill the flies for coming to our house under the illusion of the right of us but not the others. I can say this: if we want to find a meaning to our lives, then the responsibility of every creature lives in this earth must be respected. That doesn't mean we stop eating chicken or beef, but we eat and give back, we kill and be killed. The point is this: the laws that have been created by some of us is not the law of us but the law of the ones that serve them, and the predatory nature of them and the prey, which is the majority, most repair the damage that have been for many years of thinking. If we want to find a reason for each one of us, that means we destroy everything that holds us from being what we are. We most back in time where we were prey. Thieves? If they steal bread or money, they put them in jail, but the bigger thieves who take people energy and use them by creating laws that serve them, called rich and kings. But the poor, naive and normal people have to pay everything to keep the lazy live lavishly and keep controlling the poor under too many law and regulations that no one would understand. See, people have from 70 to 80 years old lifespan, want to live as free as they could, and everyone would agree on this in the main, while no one want to die, and everyone agrees on this too. But when every time try to be free comes some people and try to use other people to live on their back using monopoly and twisted ways, and no one could stop them. No one is thief or want to steal others, but the regulations and laws that make them do what they do. I may be naive and there is thieves in this world, but as I lived up to now, the good is more than the bad, and the ones who steal from people is in this place just because someone steal from them something and they could not revenge but in this way. And the only way I can put it here to make everyone understand me is this: imagine that everyone is a millionaire. What do you think the world would be like? No one would do the hard job, no one would clean the streets, no one would plant potatoes or tomatoes to eat, no one would serve people when shit hit the fans, and so on. So the people who understand all this create a system that some of us most do the hard job. But why me? Why a person who spends all his life cleaning the trash from the streets would do it all his life? Is it because he or she is not smart? Or because the system is pushing them to do it? Every one of human society want to be rich and famous, but if we look deep inside the system we are in now, it would be no different than the jungle laws. But in jungle, animals still have the right to fight, but in human system, people who are in power have secured their position to the point no one is able to fight them. They own all the weapons, all the corners that people could make a change from it. We live now in a game that the winner should be bloodsucker, doing everything they could to keep the system that secure their position from falling, and in the process they don't care what happens to others as much as their position is secure. This people would kill and destroy everything that maybe threaten their throne, kings, president, rich preacher, and so on. They use the weaknesses of the naive and poor to get more power. Is it right? Is this the way life is? Or it's the way greedy people want it to be? Do anyone accept this? In reality, yes, some people are so afraid to make a change, so afraid of dying to the point that they die 1,000 times a day, but not have the courage to speak up or to stop this people from doing what they are doing up to this day. See, we are animals, we think we are better than other animals, but no, we are not. We try to take shower every day, removing our natural smell to put some other smells. We clean the roads, build more clean roads, and create more magical world to cover up our reality, which is we are animals, yet we are animals and a disease to this earth. We think with the technology and the system we have now, we are going to uncover the secret to mortality and live happily ever after, like the imagined stories we create. We see all the deaths and blood of other animals, including other humans, and we turn our face to the other direction. We create books to be the best-selling author and movies to be the top 10, or stories to cover the reality, and yet we lies, we deceive each other. We care about numbers more than the reality. We are worse than other animals. Yet we have clothes to cover our lies, not buddy. We have movies to get attention and money, not to tell the real story. Even the people who are the real actors get nothing, while the fake famous actors get millions by playing a role to get more numbers on the big screen. We have lawyers to protect the rich and powerful people, while the real oppressed people got forgotten. We have many things but a fake things, and we tell ourselves we are who we are. No, we are who they told us to be. We are just traitors to our true self. We have economy but to serve the rich. We have food to feed the greedy. We have judgment to judge the poor. We have weapons to kill the weak. We have nothing that serve the truth. Everything we have now is fake lie. I want to be honest with you, but why? Even my honesty will betray me, because as much as dishonest people I see every day, I get discouraged. The only time I see honest people is when they are drunk or angry. But why? Should I make all humankind drunk to live honest? Or make them angry and destroy themselves? There is no other option to make the best of people, not because they don't want to be, but because the system we create is preventing them from being the best of themselves. Everything for trade now, even life. Life is nothing if we give it no meaning, yet the meaning we give now is nothing more than trade. I want to be original, but how if I am going to die when I speak the truth? Nothing will save me but one thing: be true to myself and not to the system. System is a thing that some people create to make others follow them like a blind, not to save them but to ride them like we ride a horse, and then call the horse an animal, while the horse is more legit to get respect than us. If we are going to die, then why we need others to tell us how to? Death is not hard at all, but the acceptance is the hard part. We know that the end is inevitable, yet we fight every second to stay away from death. If we knew this, why don't we do things different? The ugly truth is that they tell you work hard to get what you want and live happy. Yeah, but work hard for whom and what or why? If I work hard in a company that is not mine or public crevices, then my hard job will pay retirement plus my best years will vanish for nothing. Yet most of us will work and work without thinking of the consequences of working for others, and either working hard or working bad or not work at all. The end will come and nothing to be remembered. What I meant here is this: no one will tell us the truth about the work we do and did and will do later is for someone else and not you as individual, and all this service jobs is eating the Mother Earth, and the only winner is the greedy among us. Example: you work hard every year in a company and you get some money for your services, and in the end of the year you want to a vacation in 3 class while your boss have his own jet. Both working, but one get everything and the other get a little. In reality the ones who works harder get little and the one who use others get more. And when I say who use others is this: Nicholas Tesla work hard and get nothing, and Edison use others and get everything. And the system most stop and will stop when people start to put everything in place. If we don't accept the terms, then the terms will not be valuable. Then the people who think they are smart and can use others will submit a new terms that give rights to the ones who work hard, and equality will be served. Yet to do that the system most rebuild, and the ones in power most work for their food, not someone else put food on their table. The system is fake and can't put everyone in place, but vague rules and vague statements called law. This law works only for the ones who create it and not the ones who is affected by it. I mean is this: if there is police, then there must be criminals. Even if there is no crime act, still the police is everywhere pretending to stop crime, yet the real crime can't be stopped because we can't stop human nature activity. So the police and politics most not be remained in power because they protect the powerful people and they serve as their palm. Instead the poor most have a system that serve the poor. From the poor to the poor, and any activity that make people rich most stop, not because the rich is bad but because people do anything to get rich, even step on others on the way, and in this way equality be served. And there most many rich people will not like it, but yet the majority is not rich and they don't like, but no one care. In the same aspect the majority are poor and not educated to the twisted ways the rich take to get their position. So there must be a new organizational section that serve this purpose. And the play on human nature should stop too. If people need a doctor, that doesn't make the doctor better than the farmer or the president better than a lawyer, not in wealth, not in status. And if there is a school, most teach people first of the twisted ways of other people before they teach them anything else. People can bring food on the table if all of them know how other people think and act, and that's why the children most learn these things first in the school and in the courts. The judge and lawyers most not get more in the status or wealth, and they most look closely on the rich people before the poor, and the poor most nor be treated like the rich. Example: in a murder case is in the court and the same circumstances, but one person is rich and the other is poor. The rich most get more punishment, not because he is rich but because his excuses are mostly not convincing. There are many things that most change in this world, yet we need more poor to be educated the right way and more rich to got down from their golden chairs. The money system most go back to be paired with gold, and all the money that are more than the gold most destroy and start with the richest first down to the poorer. President, kings and politics most not be elected from the top class but from the bottom, and their careers most be laborers or farmers, so they serve the people, not the money or the twisted ways to make some people above others. All this point is not hatred against some people, but as a start to stop the practice that make people twist their ways to get rich or lead under the influence of getting rich and others work for them. Many things we can discuss, yet most be mentioned. Women's most work the women's job and man's the man's job. It's not equal if man and women worked in instruction labor, and the women most carry weight like man and she can't then ask for the same income. Yet when the money system is down, then this rules can be discussed. See, the point is not to discourage some people but to make them equal, and people are not equal in nature, but the same way you ask a boy to settle still in a classroom like robots, we can push equality among people. The problem with humans is they are lazy and they don't want to do the hard things in life, but they want someone else to do it, like horses, cars and other weak poor people whom they did not have the power to say no because the system is pushing them to accept the terms that others put for them, and if they refuse they die. Is this system really work? If some people could accomplish laziness throughout the twisted ways and others did not know how to do it, then they say you can study. Even in study, not all the lawyers are the same, and it goes for all others education systems. It's not for the human to be free but for them to be slaves, and the same way the system make criminals, it can be criminal to get others to work for you. It's simple but hard to apply. Again, the king won't plant his own potatoes, right? But if we refuse to do it, then he have no other option but to submit. And that's way all military system most dissolve, and peoples not fight each others just because someone ordered them to do it. The media most be dissolved too. Both are the devils in this system just to monopolize and deceive the mob. We all think that this the reality that we live in and can't be changed, yet the human history built up on some individuals who want to make their own paths in life and people follow them, but this does not mean we must follow their paths literally and live our lives trying to make or do what they did before. See, we are changing every second, and what was important before is not anymore. What was scary before is not anymore. What was holy before is not anymore, and the life just continue on waiting. No one, I can put it like that for you. People did not know anything about anything, they just do things. Some work, some not, some succeed, some fail, some die, some live longer, yet none of us are going to take anything with him or her. Even what called legacy is nothing because no one care. Everyone try to be important so others look up to him and give him of her their money, so they live on your energy and hard work, while you idiot think that by doing so you gain something. Well, you are not, and everything you believe in now is a shit for someone else. Let me explain it to you. Some people like cars and other hate cars and love horses, and some others believe in God, others don't care about God or devil, and some people like music and some others don't listen. So don't make important of yourself just because you follow this or that. Even the successful ways that people try to follow is a big fucking lie. You see, the same people who tells you about success and rich and all of the fame is just a scam to take someone's energy and use it to their benefits. What I meant is this: don't bullshit yourself about any bullshit you see or hear. People lived in the woods and died, or Michelle Jackson lived between other people and died. What the different? The only things that can be learned from others is how to accept the bullshit of others or how to live according to others, and this by itself is a miserable life for everyone. From millions of years up to now, nothing changed but the toys we create. Yet if you put a baby from the day he was born with a monkey, he will be monkey, and with a horse he will be a horse, with a dog he will be dog, and so on. So what we grow up on is just a bad program that need to be destroyed and built a new one from scratch. They program us to be in the herd, study and work and die. And basically like this: programming you 18 years, then slave you 50 years, then the end. What about life? Well, there is no life, you must work to eat. Then what? Can't I eat without working? Yes, you send the slaves to work for you. Can I study this at the school? No, you can't. How do you think we are going to slave people if we teach them about it? See, there is no escape from the program that they put us in for a long time. People used to hunt and create tools to live every day, to work for their food. Now we are 8 billions. How do you think they are going to live and bring more babies? That's why some slaves are going to be sacrificed for the greater good. And who did decide this? The ones who slave us, the ones who want the system to be alive, If we end the money system, then everything are going to restart, and there will be many that will be angry because the status that they get and think it's their rights to have and keep will be shaking. If a king is going to plant potatoes after many years of wiping slaves to do it, then he won't be happy. The same for the entertaining business or other silly jobs that did not serve any purpose than deceiving people to get the money from their pockets. Yet it's not because people want to be scammed, but they have been programmed throughout the media and schools to believe that this people create a life meaning. Yet what is the meaning? Nothing. They are just as scammers. They don't want to work for their food, so they make the mop works from morning to the night, then watch TV to buy product they don't need the next day. And guess who promoted this life? Yes, entertainment business. So people think that if they do like their best actor or famous on the screen, then they get the life meaning and will live happily ever after. Funny, but it's true. People will kill themselves to see a prostitute on a TV making millions, and their daughter's dream would be like her favorite prostitute that she watched on the TV. Not only products and food, even the vacations promoted by media, more and more, buy to the point they sell us the air for money. The human history up to this moment is the same: something to worship, something to believe. People can't do anything if they don't believe, so they give the mob vague ideas and mislead them for one reason: use them. The truth is so ugly, we all going to die, but in the meantime we want to believe in anything that make us forget this truth, immortality, what everyone seeks, so they just fall for any scam to live 1 second more. So every human on this earth is playing and be played on this nerve. Everywhere we turn our heads is a scam. If you want to be successful in this life, you must learn the art of using others. This art is what I call it, the game of master and slave. This game is to be a master. You must learn how to slave people and use this energy to have everything you can get in life, or a slave who have a master to serve. Throughout history up to this days, the hard part is not to free the slaves but to make the master think in equality. Yet the real problem was, and still, we can't really make equality if we don't put some rules that control the masters, not the slaves. So if we keep the system we have now, we must criminate the top people and discriminate the poor. If we don't do that, then the system is going to produce more of the same masters and slaves, and by discriminate the top people, then no one will seek the top and dream of how to be a master and use people. Instead they get on the top to serve people. What I meant is this: if the top is like the bottom, then people will not seek the top to use people. Example: why a person will study a doctor if all the hard work he put in end up to be equal with the farmer who did not study at all. And the argument goes for everything else in the system. So the answer would be so easy: if people do what they love, then they don't need to use others, they just do what they love to do, no matter what the income is. But with the system we have now, people study to get to power, to use others for their own agenda. To stop all this, the circle must keep turning, and only the pure people get to the top, not the dreamers who want to control others and push their agenda. Who knows what would happen if Nikola Tesla was in Edison's place? Who would know what could happen if Hitler won the war? Who would know what could happen if Soviet Union instead of USA? And all these questions will never know an answer to it, but yet the things that they tell us about the history is lies, and who in control want these things to happen to arrive to this future, then we are doomed. We have been played. We must reassess everything around us and seek the truth that been hidden for a reason, and that reason is to keep some people above others, while in reality no one is better than others. Even in the animals world, the top of every animal species have a rule. If he doesn't do it, they just take his or her position to give to the ones who fit the rule. Not like our current system, people learn to get to the top to secure and monopolize others and teach others the twisted ways of doing it, so the system never get the right people in the right place. Instead we get every asshole we ever knew and decided what the human should do, ignoring the natural rule of the best in the right place, not the bad in the best place. What we need is food and place to sleep. But what people want is a lot that they don't need, and when they get it they want something else. Things just happen to us or planned. If I want to eat I would go to grocery and buy something and paying with the money I get from the work I do every day. So basically if we pay 100 paper currency equal to 2 hours job, and that means we sell our time for the food and the car, the house, the things that we think is important, but forgetting the time that we waste to get it. And then we think about the time that had passed and look around us to see the banal things we bought and think, what the fuck did I do with the time I had? What we do now is not what we want but what they want us to do. Who is they? They are the people who think that others' time is not important to us. Like them. Hard to get this one? Yes, it was hard for me too. We work for someone else to get lazy. As hard as we work, as much lazy someone is get. It goes like this: the car we drive make us lazy, but the hard job done by the car is the real job. And if we put the car in the place of the people who do all the hard job, we can see how many lazy ass ride on this people and did everything they want, while that people who did the job get burned and park in the side of the road. I don't know why I'm writing all this, but people most wake up and stand up for themselves. I tried to stand up for myself, but the force of damage society is so big that can break any force that try to stop them. What I want, and a lot of people want, is to live a simple life: free time, free living, free education, free responsibility. Yet the word free is only in the books and news, and not to protect the freedom but to use it to slave us more and more. Before I thought that Western world is built on equality and freedom, but what I discovered later after I lived in the Western world, that all the wealth and prosperity they had is not from the hard work and honesty but from colonization and blood sucking of other nations, and that make me sad and angry to watch all the truth by my naked eyes. Then after all this, the Western world blame the migrated poor for the destruction of their freedom. The ugly truth is no one on this earth is fully honest or real. We all fake, selling and buying each other to make our ego feel smarter than the others. Then we blame the others if they react to us in a way we don't like or expect. Colonization never stopped or will ever stop. Colonization is done by force, physically or psychologically. Yet we, the normal people, get smashed under this forces, and if we try to stop it we are anti-government or anti-revolution or anti-something, and under this names we lose everything that remains for us as free spirit. There is no free spirit anymore. We become free products: free cows, free horses, free animals, and some others milking us to their benefits. If a car company built a car, why should the hand workers get less than the engineering? If the fishermen get less than the fish selling man? Is the one who studied give more to the earth than the ones who is not? The best thing about death is making everyone equal. That what make death so good and make the people who did not get fair in life get fairness in the death. You see, the most people who hate death is the people who have everything in this life, and the most people who like death is the weak and poor people who have nothing in this life, and that's why the both be dead in the end. So the ones who hate everything be equal with the ones who hate nothing, and by that the ones who hate everything knows that everything they have is going to vanish, and the ones who hate nothing knows that they will be resting in peace after all the pain they had. That's why many people hate death, and they try to do everything to avoid it and never speak of it. It's forbidden to speak about death to children in the school, in the public, in the books. All the entertainment that available now is avoiding death, and if they mentioned anything about it they picture it to get more benefits from the ones whom are afraid of it, and is a lot. It's not fun and we can't avoid it, but it's equal to all, and that's why our system most be like death: everyone equal or everyone free. What I mean is this: the people who created a community to protect them so they could live as long as possible to enjoy this life as they like or as they think this life should be most give the people who want to live in a total freedom community. It goes like that: the people who believed in politics and politics most get in a side, and people who believed in crime and everything goes without authority most get in other side. And if anyone argue about this, then all of you can see the unfairness in this world, to the point that the authority gangsters have the right to destroy the unauthorized gangsters, and who make it authorized or unauthorized is a people who have the total freedom, and they are few, and the majority are the ones who are afraid from death and from the total freedom. Total freedom is so hard to accomplish because you have to accept that there is someone who is going to rape you and you can't protect yourself, and you can do the same, yet the consequences is fair for all, not like the current system that where poor people only get to serve the what called justice while the rich and fat people can get away by the twisted ways the system that they created offers them to take. See the chaos: no one like it, the same way that no one like death, but in the chaos everyone would buy under the penalty no matter what. That's why everyone likes the revenge movies and books or stories, because it's fair, yet no one want the revenge to be applied on them. If we are going to die but as slaves to big companies, governments, medicine, war, money, then what the point of living and not knowing what could be different on the sides where they make us afraid to discover? But a few are allowed to make experiments. All the things we create and we hate and will have is coming from the desire to live. But what about the desire to die? Fair and equality is not a question or an idea, it's a most for every living thing on this earth. Equality is fair for all, if you study or not, if you have money or not, if you are powerful or not, if you are God or devil, and so on. We most make equality our new religion. All the religion that comes before is speaking about everything but not about equality with everything, like death. We are equal with the chickens we eat or any other living creatures on this earth. We all eat and shit and breath and fight and many things that make us no different than any living thing on this earth. Yet if we have some power that make us stronger than other creatures, doesn't mean that we are right free to destroy what we please, but make a law to protect the people, the animals, any animal. We think we have what we call morals, but this morals is not different than the morals of a buffalo who protects his kind from the lion's attack but fight each others for the food, and females or dolphins who shares drugs for pleasure, yet none of this animals do to each others or the nature around them like humans did. They are the most creative animals when comes to death and killing. They give morals for killing to justify their behavior. Women rights? What the heck is this? Can I ask for lions' rights? Or chicken rights? What they think is right are not right, instead is a power-shifting ideology. If we go more and more against nature we will destroy ourselves. It's like that. In every problem or conflict they say protect the women and children, then the men dies, then the children rise up with the women who turn the man-child into a pussy man, and the control goes to the women who never know what to do in conflict. Then they want to make the earth population gays and castrated, and the technology that man built through history goes to the women who save their egg in fridge to choose when to have children and what kind and how they grow up. Man should do like nature say, lead and provide to the family, while women most rise up children and do the homework. When the nature ways apply everything goes to place, but when the twisted ways start to invade our life the problems start to rise up. We most stop the twisted ways and fight against the power that trying to play in the natural ways. We are not smart enough to understand who we are or where we come from, yet it's not fear of change. But when China kills all the birds to save the corpses they were happy first, but when the grasshoppers start to attack the corpses and they knew then that the birds were also eating the grasshopper, so they bred the birds again, so the balance go back to the nature. Se we may not like many things in this life, but as everything is connected and everything have a reason in nature, then we can't judge the nature and try to change it on what we think it's right. Death is right like life is right. There is no wrong or right in the universe, it's just our understanding that not yet fully understand, and by trying to manipulate nature is a dangerous game that will backfire on us even if we don't have any part in this change, and that's why we most stop. Those who think that their ways is the right way, as no one knows what is right or wrong, if the law is right, why still criminals in the world? If the school is right, why the people who reach the highest many time they don't go to school? If the medical is right, why still deaths without cure? And why? Many questions, and yet there is two sides to answer them, not my side and not yours. We most stop the monopoly and start the hard way, the way of equality, truth, honesty, fairness, sympathy and many more. We most live like animals and don't question their lifestyle. Animals talking is not a different than animals that not. Animals accept everything in life and we are not. We want to live more, we want to have more, we want to own more, we want to kill more, we want to destroy more. Freedom is nothing more than practice the freedom of others on behalf of our freedom. It doesn't mean that killing the others is my freedom, but most all practice freedom without the interrogations of others' freedom, even if that freedom is affecting my freedom. I'll explain. If the freedom of some people is to marry the girl in certain age and others did not want that, then the freedom should be the girl wants first, then her family, then what is called government. Government control the freedom of everyone on the behalf of our own existing. If the majority believe that this leader is the best for the country and the minority did not want a leader at all, then the freedom of both parties are the practice of every individual of the minority on what they believe is right from their beliefs. Otherwise it's not freedom but slavery. See, wherever there is a free people there is slaves, and free and slaves never understand each other, neither the government. There is no freedom but power of the majority control the power of the minority. Yet in history the minority are the ones who changed the history, yet the minority become a majority and vice versa. And the way things work now won't be effective later. Everyone thinks that they know things, but if you challenge their beliefs, they did not have any basic of their own knowledge but the things that others plant in their heads, then they call themselves free. But no one can see the slave in him or her. If the slave knows how to free himself, then he is not a slave but a free man. But if the slave think he is free without knowing that he is slave, then he will never be free. We think we are free but we are not, and the same way that the individuals who opens the eyes of the majority on the slavery, the same point that the majority see it as freedom and the slaves see it as normal or reality, then it start to be a dream, then it changes the reality to be a dream comes true, then the all reality changes from a form to other form. Yet we all are slaves to the material in this world, and the minority know this, so they use the majority to serve them under the cover of material things. See, if you don't buy a car, a house, a land or anything that need money exchange, then the minority will have no effect on the majority, but the majority are slaves to material things, so it's hard to free them from the slave habit. It's hard to free the slave who grows up on a system that teach us in their school, put our lives in their banks, eating from their food, and then ask the minority to condemn themselves and say to them to free the slaves. Do you know what is that mean? It means the chaos, the fear of death, the fear of living in a chaos, the fear of losing what we have, make us slaves to anyone who give us a free peace. Like the sheep who lived in peace for long to be slaughtered by the ones who promised the peace. Everyone have the right to live, the right to do, the right to have, but what about the right to be equal in everything? They make a law to everything that serve the benefits of someone on the behalf of many others. But no one is humble to put themselves in the shoes of others and feel what they feel. Everyone wants more, and even if they get what they want, they still want more. And what make it so funny when the politics and leaders speak about serving the masses and want them to live a bitter lives? But what they hide is this point, the power of the masses to serve them and their deals. We all want to live lazy and depends on others to do the work and the risks and the hard job for us while we enjoy our lives. We can't force this people to be humble, yet the police supposed to humble them, yet the police can't humble any of this people because they are the ones who created them from the first place. How we expect to condemn themselves? No one will say about himself that he is a bad person or he is criminal or he is lazy, but the opposite. Everyone is good and love people and wish them good, yet the actions we see every second reveals that people are addicted to the system of using others and study this art in the school system and practice it in real life every day. So we don't actually learn anything, but we do what our impulse says. Instead of teaching each other how to help and how to be equal, we teach the people how to fit in a job and how to serve others. The natural things is the powerful survive, and from the beginning of our history up to now this law is still active, but not in the right way. There is many strong people but they don't survive but die and vanish because some weak and pushy people use twisted ways to monopolize the strong people. To do things under the cover of heroic and the greater good, but in fact it served only themselves, and while the strong die and vanish, the weak survive because of the effort of the strong. Everyone have the right to live as we agree, but the right to live, how this never been defined. Is it the right to live as slave? Or the right to live as weak and pushy? Or the right to live to eat and shit and die? There is many rights that never defined and many wrong that never defined, and there is many lives smashed between the wrong and right. So better to be chaos than what called community, better to live and die as we want than live and die as someone or some group wants. If the war is the cure for our problems, then we never grow or have been learned from the history, and this is our tragedy and the natural ways that can't be fixed, or we most change the school system and the community system and the war system so the weak and pushy die first and the leaders are from the poor. The money system most be destroyed totally and not some have everything and others have nothing. If we just change the things that created our problems from the beginning, then we have less problems to care about. If most people work in planting instead of online jobs or trading, then we will have less rich and more powerful people depending on themselves. The dependent on the systems make us so mentally weak and live to die, but if we depend on ourselves for food and warmth, then we have no time to think about the new car and new pleasures, wishing to be rich like others, then do things we don't like to be someone we are not, and live to die doing things we don't want. I speak about planting because the most basic things for people to stay alive is food and water. Anything else is not important. All material things that human creates over time and the war they wage every now and then is boredom. The time they have on this earth is so long for them to create toys and then fight over it. Every person we met seemed to grow up, yet after a while we find out that they never grow up. Waking babies crying out loud, I need a toy, I need a relationship, I need a car, they need and want out of boredom. The problem is people think they'll live forever or they will find a solution to live forever. The time we have on this earth is passing, if we play or not, if we kill or not, if we buy a car or not, while this passing time is a curse on the people because they want to grab everything they could to seem that they are living the life, and by doing banal things they exchange the boredom. All the time we have on this earth is not enough for many people. They want more to do things that did not give anyone any meaning. What the point of airplane? Everyone going to say it's great human mind inventions or it makes the places around the globe closer and many other answers, yet how many problems come with it? How many slaves works to make it? We create things from boredom to make others busy so they waste their bored time in any bored activity. If we want to create things to make our life easy, that doesn't mean the ones who invented most have more or most be treated different. They may be invented things but they don't born that way, but they use the information from others too. So what that mean is no one in this earth have the right to have more than others, and special nowadays every idea on the internet have been stolen and used to create things when everyone speaks his mind, and others stolen the idea and make it his use. Nothing is private now and they blow our minds with privacy policy. It's just another way of owning our privacy. By another word is non-privacy with policy that serve the others, the big tech, the rich, the ones who own the bank. We will never be who we want to be if we follow the lead and idea of the ones who get benefits of it. That means working for me, not for others. I don't want your protection. Let the thieves take everything from me. Let the drug dealers sell me their things. Let me choose what I want, even if the risk is so high. The life is risk itself and the death is safer than life. Who want a protection from life? See the ones who want police and politics, like the chickens who want from the farmer to not pluck them today but tomorrow. In the world we are now, everyone told us to help others, to sacrifice, to die for your country, to defend others, to do many things that benefits the others. But who is the others? The rich, the cowards, the leaders, the opportunists, traffickers in human beings, and so on. In our human law they give us the honey and take the bees, they give us the Bible and take the land, they give us the money and take our energy. Yet if we want to live alone they did not let us do so. You must work, you must fight, you must sacrifice, and if we ask any questions they accused us of being traitor and take your life away from you, like they know more than us what life is. If we don't know who we are, then how some of us decide what is right and what is wrong? If we ask the lions, why did you kill the puppies of other lions, it's wrong. Or is it nature? Who taught us what wrong if the right things by nature is considered wrong by some people? We are just acting without any type of understanding why we act this way or that. Still we act and define our actions with any excuse to justify our actions, and then some others accept our justified actions if it benefits them, but judging us if it's not. So in many countries they have a season they kill the wolves because it's too many of them, and yet if the wolves become extinct they start crying and saying they must protect the animals. So any action we do now must have justifying ahead of it. What if the wolves start to kill us human and keep our numbers in check? Is it wrong or right? Right and wrong is a lie, a way to use the actions that serve a purposes, and it depends on that purposes comes the justification of it. The life is so complicated to the point that we are sick of following any laws anymore, because the laws is not for the good of people but for the good of some, and the years are going to forgive and forget what humans did and done. Time is the master of all power, master of everything, and if we have time we have everything, but we don't have. If we can manipulate time it will be the strongest weapon mankind could ever have. But we can't get back in time even a second to wipe what we have said or done. That's why sometimes we regret saying a word for years, and we regret hurting someone for years when we did something. The only thing we can do is waiting the time to pass so people forget what we said or do. This words from what I see and feel every day in life, seeing people struggle to survive another day, and yet I am one of them. No matter what we said or do, the time would pass and wipe everything, including this words. So to whom who reading this, do and said what you think is tight, because no one knows what is right. People just mimic each other and think what most people do is the right things, yet if all the flies stop on the shit, that doesn't make the shit become a flower. We are not different from any other creature on this earth, and we are connected to everything in this earth. Everything. We are like a meal. Every ingredient is special to this specific meal. Light more salt, or more sugar or pepper, yet not every meal are the same. So we are may look the same, but we are different in some ingredients, some experience, some chemicals, and all this is from the earth we live in and come from. Thanks for every person I have met in my life up to now. This where my information comes from. Every person, especially a king, a president, a rich, a famous, a powerful person on this earth, most humble him or herself to the point they see themselves naked to themselves and remember that they are naked, but the covers they create throughout life is not the real them. They are equal with every other human on this earth, not only humans but every other creatures on this earth. The equality of life and death is what make us the same. As we lived in this earth for long time, eating, drinking, killing, loving, and every written history, memory, events, the earth is the part of it, not only a part but the story itself. Yet every one create a god to worship, forgetting or not knowing that the earth is the mother of every knowing thing we have and had and will have. We are like trees or stones. We are built from a mixture of fire, water, humidity with some pressure and special events that are still happening and will continue to happen. Until the Mother Earth stops turning, they say everything is for a reason. But what the reason for everything? We are a chemical reaction that happened before on the earth, and the ingredients that was before is not exists anymore, not because they vanish but simply they just transfer to other things, and the reaction still going but in different form and results. To make it simple to understand, imagine your mother is preparing food for the lunch, let's say spaghetti. The ingredients that your mother had been using was in a simple things from the farm with fire and water, some humidity and some steps. Then we get the spaghetti. See, it's simple, but the question is, can we separate the ingredients to its simplest formula that was before the cooking? This what happened to us before. Every living and non-living thing on this earth is started like that, and after the cooling we can't separate the ingredients to its simplest form again. Or let's say our understanding is still limited, or the whole thinking process is wrong. What I mean is the education we have now is some people rules and not the real education. They make people think like each other, and the ones who get the credit is the ones who follow, not the ones who aren't. When everything was been evolved on the earth, it was a process with no purpose, and we in this days try to make a purpose of everything, and the ones that did not follow the purpose of others consider to be out of the usual ways. They are either fools or genius, yet both are not in the purpose of what others wanted to be. I'll give an example. Who give the purpose of the bees to go out in a special season to land on every flower to make honey. If we are non-thinking animals, we would never know or ask or give any purpose, yet if we can think and ask, we found out many questions that not been asked, yet people never give this question any time to think of it. Yet any question we ask have many possible answers. Yet some of us pick the answer that they think is fit, the purpose they think is right, then they make the answer they like, the education to the new generations, and so on until this days. I mean by this is we as humans now interfere with the Mother Earth cooking plan, thinking we have a purpose to do so, and we force other people and animals alike to believe in this purpose, like religion, politics, media, sport, and so on. By doing this we think that people around us is smarter and have knowledge about what they say and do, but when it comes to the knowledge of the earth, or let's name it the creation of us, no one knows but speculation between the knowledge to the point no one knows anything. Religions say that someone hate create us. Others we comes from nothing. But where nothing comes from? The same question goes to the religion creation. We know nothing about where we come from, yet everything around us is pointing to chemistry and atoms. How they get together to create the life we know is still hidden to us. The factory where everything started is not known or had been destroyed by the ages. Time is the master of everything we know, but time also is the secret of everything that we don't know. As we can say there is no time at all, time is a definition for a length or action that pass and can't get it back, but if there is no one to watch what had happened, then the time did not exist. What I mean is this: it rain every day on the earth in different places to the point no one care about rain but the ones who have an activity on the day that the rain is going to happen, then they will give that day an important weight. This is what the life is about, the weight we give to the events that had happened, but if we are not here at all then there is nothing at all. To make it easy, if there is a life on Jupiter, did that life know about its existence on Jupiter? If yes, then they have a time definition; if not, then there is no life in Jupiter. We humans searching for life out in the space that fits our definitions of things. That's why we may never find a life outside the Earth, but we may find a places that similar to our Earth. Yet if we find that place, most likely the life that supports our body physiology be like the life we had and have now on the Mother Earth. But the question still, do we deserve to be the ones who take care of the lives of other creatures on Mother Earth or any other planet? What I mean is this: we have the Earth and we have many creatures that lived and lives with us, yet we treat them like food or entertainment. Even our own kind human, we kill them for reasons we create and the definition to justify the actions. The religion we create speaks mostly about humans, but other creatures are food or ride. So what the point of life if we are only the center of it? Why we call it life if we come from something that was not us from the first place? If we comes as humans to this earth from millions of years before any other creature and create the life we see now, then Jupiter is alive and the master time is waiting until we are ready to create life on other planets, and that means we did it before and the earth was like Jupiter or Mars, and Adam and Eva arrived on the planet first and they start creating the dinosaurs and the flies we know now, or many other creatures that had been vanished with time with Adam and Eva also died. Or we comes to this life after many chemicals reactions that happens in a place like laboratory but natural one, where the conditions were perfect to the chemicals to be mixed with each others under the humidity and warm or lighting and volcano fire, so something sparked the life and we see what we are or become now. Yet the place and the first life had died and the time had passed and the evidence is hidden or destroyed. Or we are in aliens using the human body like a host because we can't breathe the air on this planet, and that's why we have thoughts and ideas we don't know where they come from. So many theories, so many beliefs, some supporting the left, some others the right, some in the middle, yet now one knows where we come from or who we are. Yet we kill each others on the beliefs of the others that different from our beliefs, under the illusion that all this killing are for a reason. Who give that reason? Someone? See, like I've said before, we create reason to justify the actions we did or going to do, so any action we do have justifications to it, and even if not, we say we don't know why we do what we did. See, all the conqueror in the history have a big support of their nations and people, but for other nations they are just criminals and they must be killed. If both nations did set together and justify that actions, they will never come to agreement. That's why they do the actions first, then after they are exhausted then they do the justification of the actions. And the earth still produces more people, more justifications for the actions. Even our years on this earth is more than 1,000,000 years. We all are dictators. If we are not, how it comes that we think of ourselves first? Bear with me this example. From the time we are small babies we tend to love things or our parents and consider it to be ours, and if anyone dare to take it away from us we fight and bite for it, and if the ones who try to take things from us were stronger than us we cry, and resentments and hate is instead filled inside to the point we never forgive that person. And when we grow up, the land, the horse, the car, the girl, the money is ours, and we kill if someone try to take it away from us. The only different now is we are stronger than before to defend what is ours, and we create alliance and army and take what is not ours in no ending circles. This days we think we are in the future and the old days is not exists anymore, yet man prove that human are who they are, like a dog is a dog or a horse is a horse. The dictatorship have many faces, democracy freedom is one of them. All the countries around the world have the right to speak, but some subjects is not, and that's why all countries are dictators despite the name and the regime, the mafia in a big scale. Climate change is lie like sugar lie. How you are going to sell Coca-Cola if you say the sugar is bad for your health? And the same goes for the electric cars or electric devices. If they want to sell their products while the oil industry is dominating the market, you need to create a myth or a lie about oil industry to convince people to buy your products. It's always like that, people lie to take things from us. They are around us in the first place because there is some kind of benefits, even the relationship's never been pure and some benefits is attached to it. The fun comes when a storm comes so strong, or a bad weather hits some regions. You hear old people that this storms had happened before, and that means the climate did not change if the storms comes every 30 or 40 years. Another explanation of this lie is this: everything in this earth is from the earth and to the earth comes back, so when we eat, grow and use things, it comes back to the earth in different form. The only thing that make problem and can be solved is the population concentrated in a small area, and they all need water and health and transportation and so on, and that is the reason. But if we work on the water supply, the thing's going to be okay. We all going to die and return what we take from the earth, that is all. The economy built on individual gained and not on the benefits gained. What I mean here is this: instead of building more cars, battery cars or other new things, why we don't drop the ocean water into desert and create a salt and clean water for drinks? Instead of putting the money on luxury and status, why don't we solve problems that more important than pretty things? There is no climate change as much as population inflation. Instead of creating more cars, why we don't reinvest in the old ones? Instead of speaking about carbon emissions, why we don't plant 10 trees for every car been made? Why would we protect the rich while put the poor in the jail? The system is protecting the people who create the environment that make people poor and do crime, and what they told us is this: work hard, work on yourself, work and study, and if I create something by my hard work, the governments takes my creation and make a profitable product out of it. What if I don't want to give it to anyone? No, you can't, because the government's owning us like they own the land, and who owns the governments is the people who owns the money. In the end of a person life, he or she have three options: first, do nothing and live like a zero on the left, or second, do everything and they stole your hard work. And the third option is to join the people on the top and be one of them, using others to get more rich while the ones working for you get nothing. So in the end, if you don't do what they want you to do, then the blame is on you. Who told us that by creating new jobs and opportunities and using people is the right things to do? The art of using the effort of others. This art is defined like this: if I have an idea like Elon Musk and we want to do the job alone, we will never do it and we will die and the job never done. So here comes the art of using others. So to use this art, you have to bring a number of people to do all the hard job and to execute the idea, while the real worker receives some money and been forgotten, while Elon Musk get everything just because he have an idea. If we ask some questions, what's wrong with walking or riding a bike? Why should we have nice car, nice house, nice mobile phones and on, but in the end we lose ourselves for this stuff while someone else get the pleasure of our hard work? If no one help Elon or Bill Gates or any rich person, then they will beg to sell their products without riding your back, or they will pay you a lot more than the little they pay you now. or they will share the benefits of their company with the workers that make the job done instead of selling for punch of other people zero who use us to do more hard jobs while they receive the credit to themselves. Reserve your energy. The horse that never been domesticated. What does that mean? Is this what if the horse did not accept us to ride his back? Is it good for us or him in the first place? Look at the zebra in the jungle, they do just fine like the other animals, and we as humans most do like the zebra and ask ourselves why should we work other than planting our food? If we stop running after the paycheck and start running after our real purpose in life, we will see that paying money or receiving money is just a way to deny the reality, plus the ones whom paying the money is like riding your back to get the hard job done while he give you food, water and shelter, which basically is available in the nature if we seek it to ourselves. See, the energy we have is gone just because we bends our back to others to ride and teach our children to do the same. Under the illusion of money and future. If this correct, then why the money we have is not enough for most of us? But is a lot more than enough for some of us? Not because they are smart or they give something to humanity. Or they are educated. It's just we are making the money our purpose instead of our energy. The horse would be much happier in the jungle than been ridden by other species, and if we speak that human provided security to the horses. I'll tell you this, been secure with someone riding you or been without security but free, which one you want in this short life? Some country think they are obligated to gather the earth's rich by conquering other countries just because they can, and if some of this country resist them they call them terrorists. Why you think you are better than others? No one respect the domesticated horse, but they respect and fear the horse who's not domesticated, and this the truth about the life we live. Don't be domesticated weak person but free wild person. Everyone respect even if you live on the edge. If we have two puppies, one of them been taken by a family who trained him, give him processed dog's food and sleep on the couch in the cold days, trained to not bite or jump on others with money other animals in the house, this dog will grow up to be the best family dog and his days end with a good service. But the other puppy was taken by another family and they were in the far side in the woods where that puppy was free of all the human interaction and was met with a pack of wolves in the woods. And learned to hunt and take care of himself and face the harsh weather, and his life was good and end up growing with the family he belonged to. If we bring this two puppies after they totally grown up in the environments that we were talking about before, then the thing we are going to experience is like this. The two dogs will be the same physical traits, but the deeper thing is what the actress or actresses did to the humanity. The entertainment world in general is a scam. Who cry better gets the Oscar, who act better get the Oscar, but what about the truth? Where is the actresses who talk the truth and show it to the public? No, the agenda that hires them is not about the truth but about pushing some agenda. In return they pay them lavishly to be the high payment puppies, so the masses follow them without any questions. This note written by Ragid Kohli. A person who live in this earth and many country, and as long as I change the country I should change the laws I have learned in the previous country, to the point that I found out that all the laws around us is for the powerful to be more powerful and the poor to be more poorly.